CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. It is August 4th. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and we've got sunshine with a high up to 27 expected today. Getting warm. Full forecast to come. But right now, let's get to the news, and let's say good morning. Sitting in for Lisa Best, here's Steve Young.
Much, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. With thousands forced from their homes due to fires around southern British Columbia's Okanagan Lake, the Salvation Army in Vernon has become a place for people to gather as they figure out what's next.
Charity spokesman Ron Cartmell says it opened Friday to offer emergency support services. He says since then, local businesses have stopped by with help ranging from pallets of bottled water to hamburgers and coffee. Cartmell says the community is doing what it can to ease some of the pain and the trauma evacuees are experiencing. He says he's spoken to people who are on their third wildfire evacuation in 7 years. As of late Monday, there were about 120 fires burning across BC, 50 of them classified as out of control. Lisa Laporte, The Canadian Press.
Meanwhile, 100 Mexican firefighting personnel have arrived in the province to help with the growing fires. Forest Minister Rafi Parmar greeted them at the airport at Abbotsford yesterday and says about 200 more are coming later this week. He says they've traveled from their homes to help British Columbians protect theirs amid a challenging wildfire season. As of Monday, there were more than 120 active fires in BC, including multiple places that have led to evacuation orders and alerts in the southern half of the province. You can expect to see smoke in the area in the southern half of the island today. The smoke from the fires in the interior and Washington state will waft into the region. The worst of it can be expected late this morning before it eases as the afternoon progresses. Environment Canada says the air quality index will be at 3 or low risk today. Sad news coming in from Spokane. Officials there announcing the arrest of a suspect who they say is responsible for starting the Old Trails fire, the largest of 3 fires currently ravaging Spokane. Here's Alex Stone.
More than 10,000 acres have burned in the Spokane area. Fire trucks surrounded by huge blazes as crews rush to contain the flames. The sheriff saying 14 people are unaccounted for, but incredibly, nobody has been killed or even seriously injured, despite the flames moving so quickly.
2 flight school planes crashed yesterday while flying near the city of Chilliwack.
Gary Atkins with the Chilliwack Airport says one of the aircraft was carrying 2 occupants and safely landed at the airport. He says the second plane became submerged in a quarry lagoon and 1 person was reported to be on board. BC Emergency Health Services says 5 ambulances were dispatched to an area northwest of the airport. Officials say no patients were taken to hospital. Chilliwack is about 100 kilometers east of Vancouver. Aaron Sousa, The Canadian Press.
President Donald Trump issuing a warning that he's giving Iran, quote, one last chance to make a deal.
Key to any deal will be the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, but even this deal being discussed would not take it back to the free passage through the strait that was in place before the war began. For now, Iran, though, saying that they are only talking with Oman and not the U.S. about a deal to reopen that strait.
Parliamentarians divided over whether hybrid rules for voting and committee meetings should stay in place on Parliament Hill 6 years after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's when members of Parliament began voting and attending committee meetings from home. More from reporter Lisa Laporte.
Conservative MP Michael Chong told the House of Commons in February he thinks Canada should end hybrid parliament, arguing it's the only national legislature amongst Western liberal democracies to remain in hybrid mode. Liberal MP Corey Hogan replied to say as a father of 3 young children, he's appreciated the flexibility that hybrid sittings have allowed on the unique occasions when it was necessary.
New Democrat MP Heather McPherson said in an interview last week, there is value in the hybrid parliament, noting the nature of the work has changed and Canada has to offer flexible working conditions if it wants MPs to represent the nation's diversity. And that's your news to 6:05. Today's CFAX 1070 News Poll: would you start using BC Transit or use it more often if service and routes improved? You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Steve Young. It's happening. It's here on CFAX 1070. It's 6:06.
Thank you, Steve, and good morning. Thanks for being here this morning.
It's early.
It is early. And not only did you have to fill in for me for a couple of weeks recently, now you're here for Lisa.
Yeah, my body was just starting to normalize. Thank you, Lisa.
Wow, I'm glad Lisa
I'm sure
gets...
she's up, actually.
Is she, you think? Is she texting you already?
No, she isn't, but I'm guessing she's up.
Yeah, your body clock sort of stays with it a little bit, sadly.
Absolutely.
But, well, what's going on today? We've got a very warm day coming, highs of 27 expected, although right now it's just a fairly reasonable 13 degrees. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to the sports. So much going on. Let's start with the Victoria Shamrocks. They kick off the Senior A Western Lacrosse Association playoffs tonight. The Shamrocks begin with Game 1 against the Nanaimo Timbermen. Tonight's game at the Q Center. It's best of 5 format. A second game Thursday night, 7 o'clock, Frank Crane Arena in Nanaimo after tonight's. Victoria Harbour Cats are getting near the end of their regular season. Actually, you had Harbour Cats action in 2 different places last night. We had at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium, the big fan appreciation event and the fireworks and all that stuff happening. The game itself was the split squad. It was the Harbour Cats split squad and the SIBL All-Stars. With the All-Stars taking the victory 10-8, the Harbour Cats A squad was playing on the road in Wenatchee with a playoff spot hanging in the balance. Victoria was defeated 5-2 in the first contest of a 3-game series. They'll play the second match tonight. But yeah, it's not a guaranteed thing that the Harbour Cats will make it to the postseason here. So they need every win they can get and a little help elsewhere in the league as well. The Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS tied for first in the Western Conference of the Major League Soccer League. Are hosting the Atlante FC of Mexico City in tonight's Leagues Cup group stage opener at BC Place Stadium. Atlante plays in Liga MX, that's Mexico's top division. The Midsummer Tournament features 18 select MLS sides and 18 Liga MX sides. And just a quick look at baseball, because of course it was the end of all the trading yesterday. Toronto Blue Jays general manager Ross Atkins believes his struggling club improved its roster yesterday with a blended trade deadline. Proven starting pitcher Jose Soriano and Spencer Arrighetti have been acquired, while Dalton Varsho and Jeff Hoffman were dealt away. Taking the blame for the Blue Jays' current season, Atkins is pleased with the moves.
We're turning our focus to continuing to win games and compete this year, and make us better for the 27 years season and beyond that, and feel that we've accomplished that.
Atkins believes the shakeup will give Toronto a shot to compete for an American League wildcard spot in the final 2 months of the regular season. That's your CFAX Sports. It's 6:09. CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out for a summer road trip? Well, shop at Thrifty Foods and swipe your Scene Plus card to save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See you in store for details. Okay, on the roads right now, it's fairly clear. No major crashes, no volume delays to speak of right now. I was saying this last week. I'm going to say it again this week with it being a long weekend kind of week. We just had Monday off for a lot of folks who get those stat holidays. I bet you there's a lot of folks just generally off this week. So I'm guessing we're going to see lighter than usual volume delays through the week. It's sort of playing out right now. We will, though, at BC Ferries see a busy day, I'm sure, although maybe not as busy as the last few. But the 7 o'clock sailing is already 91% full. So possible sailing wait at 7 o'clock that we're looking at right now. To the weather forecast. Well, we've got sunshine, high of 27 today. A little cooler by the water, but then humid. So a humidex of 30 degrees. It'll feel like 30 in the humidity inland, but it could feel like 19 degrees if you're right by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait. So we've got very different temperatures depending on where you are today. Clear skies overnight, lows to 13. Tomorrow, the day looks very much the same. Expect that same forecast tomorrow, and more or less for Thursday as well. Friday, it's going to be slightly cooler, highs of 25 degrees. And Saturday and Sunday, same thing, just slightly cooler, but still nothing but sunshine in our forecast for the next few days. The other thing to mention, and Steve mentioned this in the news, is you could have a little bit of smoke in the air today, as with just the weather patterns and conditions, we're now starting to get a little bit of that smoke from the interior moving our way for bits of today is something you could expect. Right now, it's 13 degrees. Checking the markets. Well, North American stock markets will open a little late at this hour, so let's take a look at how things closed off yesterday and at the end of last week. Here's Aaron Sousa.
No trading on Bay Street yesterday for Ontario's civic holiday, but Friday saw Toronto's S&P TSX down 279 points to 35,226. In New York yesterday, the Dow jumped 693 points, while the Nasdaq rose 2%. In Tokyo this morning, the Nikkei was up 202 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong was down 156. Our dollar is trading near 71.20 cents U.S. WestJet flight attendants ended a one-day strike over the weekend after a quick deal with the airline. The union has said it now has 30 days to ratify the deal. Statistics Canada is out with June trade data today. May's merchandise trade surplus hit $4.2 billion, the highest in 4 years. The figures coming as Canadian exports reach a record high. And an astronaut from Alberta will fly to the International Space Station next month. Joshua Kutrick's 6-month mission aboard NASA's SpaceX Crew 13 will involve conducting health experiments and maintenance work. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Tuesday. It is going to be a beautiful, warm one here in Victoria as we continue a wonderful week. And I hope you had a wonderful long weekend. If you get it, not everybody gets the long weekends, but if you did, I hope you had a wonderful time. If you didn't, I also hope you have a wonderful time. Here joining us, it's Steve Young in for Lisa Best this week. Steve, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Nice day.
Great to see you.
Happy Snowbird Day.
Yes, it is Snowbird Day. Let's talk about that. So today is a few things. It's the day that the snowbirds arrive. It's also the day some of the smoke arrives. So we've got a couple things going on that you'll notice up in the air today. But let's talk about the snowbirds first off, because I'm so excited to say, if you hadn't already heard this, that we will be there on scene. Josh and Jade taking our afternoon show there because it's actually happening sort of at the same time. It's around about 5 o'clock today that you can expect the snowbirds to be beginning their 45-minute air show, which will be right kind of centered along the Dallas Road waterfront. It's one of those things, I'm sure you'll see it from far and wide, but that is where they're saying is kind of the epicenter. That's where you want to go for the best viewing.
Yes, and they're obviously preaching public transit because there are going to be road closures. So from 3 to 7 p.m., Dallas Road will be closed from Douglas Street to Memorial Crescent, and access to Clover Point will be restricted. From 4 p.m. on, Cook Street and the side roads north of Dallas Road may close at the discretion of police and traffic control personnel. They're saying arrive early.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of wonder how many people will go. I heard some estimates could be as high as like 30,000.
Yes, but it's 45 minutes. It's like the full show.
Yeah, they're doing the whole thing.
Yes.
It's great. And I think there's that extra hype because it's one of the last times for at least the next little while to see them, because as you've heard in the news over the last little while, they're going to kind of retire these current jets. They're going to get some new ones, but they're going to take some time to do that. So it'll be a few years off for the snowbirds. So, yeah, I think a little extra incentive for people to get out there to Dallas Road today, or, somewhere in the vicinity if you want to see them perform.
And I know you like to bike.
I do like to bike.
Well, there's a free bike valet available at Cook Street and Dallas Road. It starts at 3:30 until all the bikes have been collected afterwards.
Right. Well, no, that's a great thing to mention. If you're going to go down, transit, bicycle, walk, getting in there somewhere, some way other than the car, probably advisable. But no, I think it's going to be great. And I love the fact that we're going to be there on scene. I'm going to talk about how that's going to play out, because there's going to be some cool elements on the radio as well that we'll talk about in just a moment. But first, let's get to the headlines with Steve. What's going on?
Well, let me tell you, Ryan, it's not yet clear when WestJet will get back to full and normal operations, but flights were slowly getting back in the air yesterday after a one-day strike by the cabin crew. About 4,400 flight attendants walked off the job early Sunday after the two sides couldn't reach a tentative contract agreement in their pay dispute. There is just one short delay with WestJet flights out of Victoria so far today. Two planes from a pair of flight schools crashed midair Monday east of Vancouver over the city of Chilliwack. Gary Atkins with Chilliwack Airport says the aircraft flying two occupants landed safely at the airport. The second went down in a quarry lagoon and became submerged. One person was reported to be on board that aircraft. Authorities over in Washington state say they've arrested a 37-year-old man suspected of intentionally starting one of the devastating fires burning around Spokane. The sheriff's office said Monday night they've arrested the man for arson. He's accused of starting the biggest one, the Old Trails fire, on Saturday. That's your news to 617.
Thank you, Steve. We're going to take a look at your traffic and weather in just a few moments. And some more information about what's happening with the snowbirds and how you can catch it right here on CFAX 1070. Time for CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. And yes, well, we were talking all about the snowbirds coming to town. That's part of our traffic. This isn't a thing right now, but beginning around 3 o'clock this afternoon, they'll start to shut down traffic along Dallas Road from about Douglas to Memorial Crescent. So that stretch and, some of the access sort of around there will be a little limited with everybody jamming in to go see the snowbirds. Also, access to Clover Point will be closed to the public during the air show. So watch out for those closures later today. Right now, though, on the roads at this hour of the morning, things are completely clear. No crashes, no major road work and no congestion. For BC Ferries, Swartz Bay to Swanson, 7 o'clock sailing is full. It's a one-sail wait. Your next chance is the 8 o'clock from Swartz Bay to Swanson, which is almost 90% full itself. So a busy day at BC Ferries. For the weather forecast, sunny, highs of 27 today, a little cooler by the water, but feeling a little warmer with some humidity. So quite a range of temperatures. You could feel everything from 19 degrees to 30, depending on where you are and how the humidity plays out. Overnight lows to 13. Tomorrow, it's the same forecast, and then it stays sunny right through the weekend into the weekend, just slowly cooling off a little bit. It's not going to get cold by any means, but by the weekend, Saturday, for instance, a high of 22 compared to our 27 today. Right now, for the temperatures, the official temperature at the Victoria International Airport is 13 degrees. If you are by Swan Lake in Saanich, it's 10 degrees right now.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Texter at 71010 says, well, my commuting plan for the snowbirds is to see them on my scooter. I'm so excited. Well, there you go. You can bike, you can scooter, you can do all the different ways to get around the traffic jam if you got the means. I do love a good scooter, though. So tomorrow, this is really cool. Sorry, not tomorrow. Tonight, for the Snowbird Show, Steve, this is really cool. We are going to have Josh and Jade on scene. So they're going to be down there doing their show live from Dallas Road. They're going to be talking to some people in the lead up to this. So if you've got, your phone with you and you got the iHeartRadio app and you can get CFAX on your earbuds, you could be listening to different special guests leading up to the moment. But then, here's the thing, Steve. Once it starts, we're going to be able to tap into their radios.
Ooh. Oh.
So you can kind of hear along.
That's pretty cool.
So, just hot tip for everybody. If you got your iHeartRadio app on your phone or your whatever you got down there, get your earbuds in. You can kind of listen along with what's going on up there. I think they're also going to have some speakers set up where Josh and Jade are, so you can kind of hear all that as well. So it's going to be a really cool way to follow along.
That is cool.
Yeah, I was excited about that. So, and also, if you see Josh and Jade, give them a wave, say hello. It'll be great to go check them out down there. Great that we are on scene for the Snowbirds later this afternoon. So that's my hot tip. The other thing that's in the air, though, I want to talk about the smoke, Steve. You had this in the news. So we are looking at wildfire smoke kind of coming in over the South Island. Kind of later this morning is when we're expecting it. Not really noticing it so much now, but if you start to smell smoke a little later into the morning, that is in the forecast for it to kind of come over. My understanding is it's not going to be too heavy. It's going to stay at a fairly low kind of air quality rating.
Yeah, I looked at the smoke forecast, and it's kind of rotating.
Yeah.
So Vancouver is getting it up now.
Right.
If you're above Nanaimo on the island, you're in really good shape. Doesn't look like it's going to affect you. Nanaimo's going to get some effect, but the peak of it's sort of 10 to 12.
Okay, that's sort of in the morning here?
Yeah,
okay.
It looks like that's going to be the worst of it.
Okay. And then we're going to, see it around, not ever to like a really bad air quality rating, though. But I think just noticeable, might smell a little smoky. I guess just with the weather pattern shifting a little bit, we're not necessarily seeing a local Vancouver Island fire cause any of this. It's just all of those fires burning in the interior, whether it be Washington State or the interior of BC. We're just seeing some of it swirl around back at us, which, we haven't had that much so far this year.
We've been lucky.
In the Victoria area, at least. Yeah, we have been really lucky. I know some years get really bad, so hopefully this doesn't last. Hopefully it kind of blows away again soon.
I watched a lot of the coverage from Spokane over the weekend because that's one of the, some of my background is in preparing for emergencies and those kind of things. And then to find out today that the fire that did the most damage in terms of taking away homes was started intentionally beside a highway by a person who has multiple offenses in their criminal history. And I just shake my head because it's just so many people are suffering because of the actions of one person.
Yeah, intentionally too. Like accidental human fires are bad enough. Intentional fires, wow.
And to do it on a day when the winds were above 50 miles an hour in Spokane, That fire started from a single match, and blew up and took out houses on the west side of the city. And it's just a big swath, and they actually showed you how fast it grew. So just one little action can cause so much damage and so much trauma to so many people.
Stay safe out there when it comes to wildfires, and don't be alarmed if you smell the smoke a little bit later today. And yeah, that Spokane fire, one of the recent ones we've been following here, and we'll continue to follow it. But one other thing I want to get to just before we hit the news and get updated on all of what's going on with Steve. I got a text message here, Steve, at 7:10:10.
Is this a sports question? I'm guessing it is.
Yes. So I just want to say we're going to spend the week with Steve here. And I love hanging out with Sports Guy Steve because I get to ask all these questions. So I'm hoping we can pull out the Sports Guy Steve segment almost daily. I'm hoping at least once a day to kind of unravel something.
Oh, you sweet talker.
I'm hoping. So this texter is right on the money with something I've been thinking about and I wanted to talk to you about. Texter says, "Good morning, Ryan and Steve. With Steve's knowledge of sports, could you explain what is going on with FIFA right now? I'm not exactly sure what the president was trying to do, but it didn't sound right. Thanks, guys." That's from Chris. This is a wonderful question and a great thing to get into because last week the World Cup had just ended. There was this sense of euphoria. What a wonderful event it was. They pulled off a great World Cup across North America, but then it emerges that Julian Infantino, the president, had this scheme about trying to sell like spin-off stakes of the World Cup that he'd sell to private equity, and all of the different leagues and players that make up FIFA were incensed. There was like an internal revolt. I think he backed off the plan, but that's my really rough understanding of it.
Yes.
Steve, would you, coming up after the news, sports, and weather here, would you be able to unpack this whole thing for us?
I will try, but remember what I said when we started all this about 6 months ago, the lead up? What did I say?
I don't remember.
Never trust FIFA.
Well,
words to live by.
And here they go. Okay, so what was he trying to do? Why was it so unpopular? If you've been curious as well, Steve's going to help unwind this all for us coming up in a few moments. So thank you, Texter, for spurring that on. I'm really glad that we can get into that. We'll do it in just a moment. But right now, the 6:30 news is next. Traffic, weather, sports, everything else you need to know to start your day coming up.
CFAX, Santa's Anonymous.
Hey, grown-ups, you know, the ones still kids at heart.
Through the Kids Count Children's Grant Program powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous, local kids are getting help with summer camp fees, food security, and mental wellness support.
Where do you see kids needing the most support?
Access to healthy, fresh food through the summer.
Visit CFAXSantas.com right now and give directly to the cause that matters most to you.
Kids Count.
Powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous.
To find out how you can help, visit CFAXSantas.com. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning at 6:30 on this Tuesday, August 4th. It's going to be a sunny, warm one today with highs getting up eventually to 27 degrees. Also, watch out for a little bit of wildfire smoke wafting over us here on the South Island. Full forecast to come. But first, let's get to the news. And sitting in for Lisa Best, here's Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Some WestJet planes started flying again yesterday afternoon, and more are expected in the air today after a short-lived strike and lockout by the cabin crew. About 4,400 flight attendants walked off the job early Sunday to back contract demands over pay concerns. A tentative deal was reached early Monday, but not before inconveniencing thousands of passengers who had to navigate flight cancellations on a long holiday weekend. Things seem to be largely back to normal for WestJet flights out of Victoria International Airport. There are only 3 active wildfires on Vancouver Island. A small fire was discovered on Sunday east of Duncan near Stony Hill. It's listed as under control. Another small blaze being held. That one began last month west of Campbell River. The Lost Lake fire is the largest at over 6 hectares. It's under control as well west of Campbell River. Province-wide, there are 120 active wildfires with 4 new starts over the last 24 hours. 15 fires were declared out yesterday. Some of the thousands of evacuees forced from their home over the long weekend by fires burning around the Okanagan are describing what it was like to leave. Bert Baisley is staying in his travel trailer in a parking lot in Vernon, where he's been since he fled his home on banned land on Saturday after being evacuated from his home twice in 2021. He says he had a better sense of what to expect this time.
This one this year was a little bit quicker. The one in 2021 was a couple days where we had time to really figure out what we're doing. This one was, the fire started early in the morning and we're put on evacuation order that night.
Baisley says he watched homes burn before he left. After checking cameras on his property, he's hopeful his house has survived the wind whip flames. You can expect to see some smoke in the area in the southern half of the island today. That smoke is from fires in the interior and Washington State. The worst of it can be expected late this morning. It eases a bit as the afternoon progresses. Environment Canada says the air quality index will be at 3 or low risk today. A crash on Sunday in Victoria has gone viral. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured, according to Victoria Police. An ambulance with sirens blaring hit a Hyundai that didn't slow down for the intersection of Bay and Blanchard. The impact sent the car onto its roof. You can look up today because the skies over Victoria are about to put on an incredible show. The Snowbirds take flight at 5 o'clock with a full demonstration over Dallas Road as they celebrate anniversary number 55. If you can't make it to the waterfront, you can catch the live broadcast and simulcast right here on CFAX beginning at 4:30. Organizers are reminding spectators to plan ahead, arrive early. 30,000 people are expected. Sources say U.S. Attorney Janet Prero met with President Trump yesterday, fueling speculation she could be fired today. The meeting happened after the president criticized her for dropping charges against a U.S. Olympian accused of vandalizing the reflecting pool.
Trump lashing out at U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro for dropping her case against former Olympian David Hearn, who was charged with vandalizing the newly renovated reflecting pool.
Really disappointed with Jeanine Pirro. She folded like an umbrella.
Authorities arrested Hearn, who had stopped on a bike ride and dipped his hand in the water. But Pirro dropped the charges Friday, acknowledging documents from the Department of the Interior indicate the damage was, quote, the result of a botched installation and not vandalism.
That's your news to 6:35. Checking your poll for today. Would you start using BC Transit or use it more often if service and routes improved? You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or on the iHeartRadio app. It's 6:36.
Thank you, Steve. We have sunshine today, highs up to 27 degrees, but maybe a little smoky at times with some of the wildfire smoke from the interior and Washington State kind of moving our way today. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to CFAX 1070 Sports. Lots to talk about. Let's start with baseball because we have some Toronto Blue Jays players saying goodbye after the trade deadline. Center fielder Dalton Varsho made his Astros debut just hours after being traded from the Toronto Blue Jays for pitcher Spencer Arrighetti. Varsho, who signed and walked while battling cleanup for Houston, says being traded was emotional.
At the end of the day, it's business, and so you got to kind of wipe it up and kind of go out there and kind of forget about it a little bit quicker.
The Blue Jays beat Houston 3-1 to snap the Astros' 6-game winning streak. The teams will play each other again tonight. But yeah, the on-the-field stuff sort of overshadowed by everything going on with all of the trades. That was just one example of what happened. But I do want to talk about some local baseball because interesting thing with the Victoria Harbour Cats yesterday, they were in two places at once. Well, they did a split squad. So the A squad was playing in Wenatchee, with a playoff spot in the balance. Victoria defeated 5-2 in the first contest of 3 games. That's yesterday. So a couple more tonight and then tomorrow on the road. And then it's into postseason. Will the Harbour Cats make it? It's kind of up in the balance. We'll have to see how they do, plus how some other teams do to see where things land. So that was on the road. But then the Harbour Cats split squad also playing at home at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium, against the SIBL All-Stars, who won. The All-Stars took the victory 10-8. It was the fan appreciation night as well, with the fireworks and everything going on. So that was a cool night out as well if you took that in at Royal Athletic Park. Victoria Shamrocks kicking off the Senior A Western Lacrosse Association playoff tonight. The Shamrocks begin with Game 1 against the Nanaimo Timbermen at the Q Center. Best of 5 format, so we'll see how this one goes. And the Vancouver Whitecaps, tied for first in the MLS Western Conference, are now shifting over to the League's Cup group stage opener at BC Place Stadium. They'll be hosting Atlanta FC of Mexico City in tonight's game. So that's coming up, and that's your sports to 6:38. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Well, download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local, Canadian-owned and run since 1946. We are looking at a fairly light commute to start things off here in the Victoria area, although, there's the usual slowdown on the Trans-Canada Highway through the construction zone where they're doing the bus lane widening, so watch out for that. But otherwise, things are looking fairly typical. You can text me at 71010 if you see otherwise. Road closures around Dallas Road won't start until 3. That's for the Snowbird show today. So all the way from Douglas on one side to Memorial Crescent on the other, and access to Clover Point will also be closed off during all of this. Watch out for that later today. For the BC Ferries, 7 o'clock is full from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. 8 o'clock has some room left, though. For the weather forecast, it is going to be a warm one today. Highs of 27, a little sunshine with maybe some smoke haze at times with some of those fires burning in the interior and in Washington State, sending their smoke this way. It's been blown the other way for most of the summer, but we're going to get a bit of it today. For tonight, clear skies, lows down to 13. Tomorrow, sunshine. Again, highs of 28. Again, cooler by the water, but again, maybe a little humidity, making it feel a bit warmer, which will be the same story today and tomorrow. Thursday, it's sunny, highs of 26. Friday, sunny, highs of 25. Saturday, sunny, highs of 22. So, yeah, warm all throughout, just slightly cooler as we head towards the weekend. Right now for the temperatures in Oak Bay, I have 13 degrees. In Shawnigan Lake, it is 11 degrees. By the way, sports guy Steve is going to try to unwind some of the FIFA controversy recently in just a few moments at the request of a listener, so stand by for that. But real quick, just looking at the markets, we have the opening bells ringing, but no results from today. So here's how things closed on Friday for the S&P TSX, because, of course, it was closed yesterday for the long weekend. Ended last week down 279 to 35,226. In overseas trading, the Canadian dollar's been at 71.1 cents U.S.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that over the course of this week, as he sits in for Lisa Best, that we'll get to do a bunch of this.
To the windup in his first offering. Touch the ball, Joe. The golden goal.
It's Sports Guy Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
What did you say? You heard me.
Sports Guy Steve. Just a bit outside.
That never gets old. I love that every time. Steve, I love that a listener at 71010 is requesting that you unpack all of this controversy with the FIFA stuff and the president. So set the scene for us. What happened? And I know there was a big update over the weekend where I guess whatever was going to happen isn't happening, but take it away. What's going on here? Oh, wait, sorry. I'll turn you on there.
There we go.
Yeah.
So it was a $20 billion proposal that would include the broadcast, sponsorship, and ticketing rights for the World Cup going forward that would be put into a for-profit subsidiary called FIFA Forward Enterprise. And they would sell minority stakes up to 20% to raise $4.2 billion. So the dangle was to each of the 211 countries that participate in the World Cup in soccer that they'd each get $40 million out of this. It just so happened that the fund that was backing this idea was named by Joshua Kushner.
Kushner. Now, if you remember another Kushner, Jared, that is a guy who is Donald Trump's son-in-law, was part of the White House administration in Trump version 1 back in the first term. So it's kind of Trump adjacent, I guess, is one of the things that set off some alarm bells. Okay.
So basically, they're selling part of the World Cup is basically what they're trying to do, like the broadcast and the sponsorship and the ticketing rights. Like the other countries and federations are saying, excuse me, what?
Yeah, and I don't know the ins and outs, but what was there like a big reason to do this? Like, doesn't the World Cup already make money hand over fist? Like, why did you need to spin this off to a private thing?
It seems like there's something going on, and back to never trust FIFA.
Okay.
So what happened was UEFA, who is the European version, we have CONCACAF for our hemisphere. They have UEFA in Europe, and they said, whoa, because of all the markets, UEFA is a bigger market for the World Cup, more money involved than any of the rest of us.
Okay.
That's just the way it is.
It's like Canada and hockey.
Yeah.
You got UEFA and soccer. Yeah.
So they said no. They were one of the first off the mark to say no.
And they didn't just say no. They said that they would not participate. They would pull out, right?
Yes.
Weren't they threatening that?
Exactly. They were saying, if you do this, we're not playing in the World Cup.
Yeah.
We're going to go it alone. Bye.
We'll make our own World Cup.
So the other, including CONCACAF, came in and they said no, and everybody kept on saying no. Now, the FIFA president, who you should never trust, Infantino basically said, okay, I got the message. We're not going to do this.
Okay.
Word is he got that after the private equity firm heard that UEFA wasn't in anymore and said, we're not interested. We're not backing this anymore.
Okay. So only at that point did he say, I guess I don't have to do this. Okay.
Chances are he's going to get fired.
Well, and I also heard about this is because his role is an elected role, right? In a weird way, it's not like the general public votes on it, but there can be candidates to run against him for the role of FIFA president, and now they, at least at the UEFA level, I hear that they're trying to mount a challenger.
Yes, and some of the people high up on the FIFA hierarchy have said, I had nothing to do with this.
Oh, no.
I don't know what he was talking about. I'm resigning. So when you have people fleeing like that, you know you have a problem.
Well, texter at 71010, I hope that helped in any way unpack what was happening with the controversy, where things sit now. I still don't quite understand what the whole point of this was, except, like you said, maybe somebody was trying to make some money off in the background in a way that maybe is not quite as transparent to the rest of us. But very interesting stuff. Thank you so much for the update, Steve, on that story, and I'm sure we're not hearing the end of it. What else is going on? Steve's got your headlines at 6:47.
Thank you, Ryan. WestJet getting back to flying again after settling that wage dispute with 4,400 flight attendants. Flights began again yesterday afternoon. So far, so good for folks flying in and out of Victoria International Airport today. A tentative deal was reached early Monday, but not before inconveniencing thousands of passengers who had to navigate flight cancellations over the long holiday weekend. The Snowbirds take flight at 5 o'clock today with a full aerial demonstration over Dallas Road as they celebrate their 55th anniversary. Organizers expecting over 30,000 spectators. There will be road closures in the area. Don't forget, you can catch the live broadcast and simulcast here on CFAX at 1070 beginning at 4:30 with Josh and Jade. A cargo ship reports it's been hit by a projectile off the coast of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz, while the U.S. and Iran are making opposing claims about whether they're holding talks again. The Houthi rebels say they've fired a drone towards Saudi Arabia. And authorities say they've arrested a 37-year-old man suspected of intentionally starting one of the devastating wildfires burning around Spokane. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office said Monday they've arrested a man on suspicion of arson. And that's your news headlines to 6:48.
Steve, are you using AI tools at all for anything in your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Like, what kind of stuff do you use? Like, here's my example. I was cooking yesterday. I love to cook. And I just returned from Europe a couple weeks ago, and I was really enjoying treats and desserts made with what they called Italian pastry cream, or crema. So I was like, I want to try to make that because I never tried to make it before. It's kind of like a custard.
Well, look at you go.
Yeah, and I was trying to make it. It wasn't working to start. So I used AI to be like, okay, I'm making this. Here's what's wrong. What can I do to fix it? And it helped me, and it gave me a bunch of suggestions, explained some of the science behind some of the reactions going on. And I was able to fix my problem, and it ended up being great. It wasn't setting properly. It wasn't thickening properly. Turns out I hadn't brought it to a boil and let it stay at a boil for long enough. But anyways, I was kind of amazed at how well this worked and how it was able to diagnose my problem and actually give me a solution. However, people are using this tool more and more, not just in their hobbies and off to the side, but at the work site. Sometimes, though, it might not give you the right answer and help out. Could AI be getting some people into trouble? How to safely do this? We're going to be talking to WorkSafe BC coming up next because they got a few suggestions, including the slogan, "Before you ask a bot, ask your boss." Let's talk about that. I like that's a good slogan. Let's talk about that with WorkSafe BC next.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50/50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 6:52, which means it's almost 7 o'clock, and that is when they will begin some Fortis BC gas main construction work on the Langford Parkway. This is near Langford Lake Road. The work begins at 7. It's going to last until 7, and it's going to be happening at the same time frame every day this week. So again, gas main work, Fortis BC along Langford Parkway, near Langford Lake Road. That's what you can expect. For the rest of the commute, it's looking pretty typical right now. For the BC ferries, it's looking like a one-sail wait at 7. Still some room left on the 8, but it's a possible sailing wait, I'm going to say, at 8 because it's pretty full. And for the weather forecast, warm today, highs of 27, a humidex of 30, so feeling even warmer and some humidity, but it could be cooler by the windy Wandafuka Strait. We'll see a little smoke haze as well getting into the air a little later this morning. Right now, it is 13 degrees.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
AI becoming an increasingly handy tool, but BC's premier even says, he wants to use it to help him fix a toilet. So people can use this for all sorts of things. But when it comes to the work sites, the folks at WorkSafe BC have a few things they'd like you to think about before you use too much AI to help you get through some things that maybe isn't so helpful. Joining us right now, WorkSafe BC Field Prevention Manager Sandeep Mangat is on the line. Sir, how you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
I guess, this is a whole new world we got to figure out is, how do we integrate AI into all kinds of facets in life, including, on the work site?
Absolutely. So AI is a growing trend, and we do realize that especially the younger generation, the Gen Zs and the millennial workers, they're increasingly using AI in their day-to-day work. So yes, it is a concern.
Now, what kind of concerns are there? Because I know it's, on one hand, there's probably some benefits to this because it can pretty quickly help you out of a lot of, problems. But, what kind of concerns come with that?
Yeah, so it's a good source of information, no denying that. It does evaluate a lot of perspectives. But the concern for us is it doesn't know your work site. So if you're at a work site, you're a new worker, it does not know your equipment, it does not know the particular task or chore that you're doing, as well as not knowing the level of experience that a worker has. So it can't really assess workplace hazards or account for, those little nuances or site-specific conditions. So that's why it's very important that you don't just specifically rely on AI, but get a sum total of getting some information from there, but then asking the supervisor or your employer about the task.
I enjoy the slogan, before you ask a bot, ask your boss. It's pretty good.
That's right, yes. So we wanted it to be catchy, something where the young workers like it, and we're trying to do a social media campaign around that. So just the direct message, ask your supervisor, ask your employer. Don't completely rely on an AI bot.
Now, I don't know if you have any of these things off the top of your head, but do you have any examples of anybody getting into trouble with this? Like, has this actually come across your desk, like a WorkSafe BC claim because somebody got hurt because they were using AI in a way that got them in trouble?
It does. It did happen. Like in construction, for example, when you're trying to choose a ladder. So AI will tell you how to set up a ladder and pick up a ladder, but it won't get into the specifics of what ladder can you use, what grade, what classification of the ladder. Is it the right ladder for the task? So when you just use AI, and we've seen that happen in construction, they'll grab a ladder, or they're young, they're enthusiastic, they want to do the right thing, but it might be a wrong choice of the ladder. So those little things are things that a supervisor or an employer can tell you because they know specifics about the risks and how to mitigate and control those risks.
Do you ever find, like, sometimes you might be new and you're just starting out on a job site and maybe you're embarrassed about asking about some things and, hey, you got this instead. I can just ask my phone now with a chatbot on it to help me through this problem instead of, revealing my ignorance about something or looking like I don't know what I'm doing. Do you ever encounter that kind of situation with some new workers?
Yeah, we find that young workers, they want to do a good job, right? And so they may worry about asking questions or, they might worry about making mistakes. So they generally will rely on some other sources. So it is a concern because we do want the employers to cultivate a culture where an employer can freely be available for the workers, and the workers can freely ask questions. If something doesn't feel right, it potentially or probably is not right. So if that worker pauses to see, why does it feel unsafe? Am I not knowing this? Or maybe they don't have that specific training or orientation for that particular task. So I think what's important, and we found this quite commonly, that if workers ask the question, there is a culture that's built up where young workers are free to ask questions. And we always say there's no question that is a stupid question because you're clarifying something that you're not familiar with. So building up that confidence that, yes, young workers can come up to a supervisor or an employer, they will not be reprimanded for it, and that, yes, I need to know this well before I do that particular task. So that is very important.
We're talking to WorkSafe BC about their campaign. Before you ask a bot, ask your boss. You've actually got on your website a series of YouTube videos with sort of some examples of this. I think you've even got like a ladder example that's up there. So if people want to find out more, where can they go? Oh, you still there, sir?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Just if people want to find out more, where can they go?
Oh, if they want to get more information, yes, go to our website. We have a specific page on our website that kind of talks about the campaign. Like you said earlier, before you ask a bot, ask your boss. Go in there, take a look at it. We've got videos, we've got information that particularly deals with inexperience or lack of training. So we've got resources pertaining to that. And also on the website, another thing we were saying that if you can't find something on our website, we have our prevention information line. So it's a toll-free number, 1-888-621-7222. And just call us there and we'll provide you with more information. But this information is available on our website in multiple languages. So that's your best source. And go and get more information, better informed before you get onto the job.
Sandy Maggot with WorkSafe BC. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll take a break. We got the 7 o'clock news with Steve next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:02 on Tuesday, August 4th. It's going to be warm and sunny, but maybe a little bit of smoke haze in the mix as well. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins, and here is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Some of the thousands of evacuees forced from their homes this weekend by fires burning around Okanagan Lake are describing what it was like to leave. Atlin Becker remembers the hill's glowing orange around her as her truck edged north to safety on Saturday. Gord Ross says he watched flames spread on Friday from his home near the lake and heard propane tanks on nearby properties explode before they were ordered evacuated. Dan Wilson is the chief of the Okanagan Indian Band and says they don't know the full extent of the wildfire's destruction on their homes and infrastructure and couldn't say when residents will be allowed back. Meanwhile, the Spokane County, Washington Sheriff's Office says they're still trying to track down 14 people who called for help as the wildfire emergency broke out over the weekend.
An estimated 290 people who needed help evacuating or were looking for someone who may have been missing called 911 when the fires exploded, with the sheriff's office being able to clear most of those up with the exception of 14. Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles says he would not consider this as 14 officially missing people, with the cell service in affected areas questionable right now. The sheriff's office has not yet received any reports of fatalities. The fires have destroyed around 700 buildings and forced nearly 65,000 people from their homes. I'm Monica Nelson.
You can expect to see smoke in our area if you're in the southern half of the island today. The smoke from the fires will waft into the region as the day progresses. The worst of it can be expected late this morning around 10 o'clock-ish before it eases as the afternoon progresses. Environment Canada says the air quality index will be at 3 or low risk today. Meanwhile, the WHO is warning folks of the health risks associated with wildfire smoke and offering tips to those impacted.
The smoke is made up of a mixture of gases and very small particles released when trees and vegetation burn. People exposed to wildfire smoke can experience coughing, eye and throat irritation, and headaches, with the smoke possibly leading to respiratory issues and making asthma worse. WHO officials say if you can smell the smoke, then it's present, and steps should be taken to reduce exposure. The organization recommends staying indoors, don't use fans or air conditioners that draw air from outside, and wear an N95 mask if outside. I'm Monica Nelson.
Speaking of outside, the snowbirds will be outside on our front window today. The snowbirds take flight at 5 o'clock with a full aerial demonstration over Dallas Road as they celebrate their 55th anniversary. This year's performance is especially significant. It's expected to be the last time the snowbirds perform over Vancouver Island with their iconic CT-114 Tudor aircraft, making it a historic farewell. If you can't make it to the waterfront, you can catch the live broadcast and simulcast right here on CFAX 1070 with Josh and Jade beginning at 4:30. Josh will be on with us at 8:15 to tell us about that broadcast. Organizers are reminding spectators to plan ahead and arrive early. 30,000 people are expected. And the U.S. government issuing an active security warning for Americans traveling in Cuba as the island grapples with a total power failure.
This marks the 6th time the island's energy infrastructure has completely failed this year alone. Restoration efforts were briefly successful in parts of Havana yesterday, but a secondary failure wiped out those gains. The continuous blackouts are leaving over 10 million residents without power, water, or cell service amid sweltering summer heat. I'm Michael Kastner.
That's your news to 7:06. And your CFAX 1070 news poll. Would you start using BC Transit or use it more often? Is service and routes approved? You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or on the iHeartRadio app. Note to viewers on CTV Vancouver Island, yes, we're having a little issue with the ticker, as it is not refreshing with all the stuff that Steve put into it.
Oh, no.
So there's 20 stories there, but you're only seeing about 7 of them. So we'll try to get to the bottom of that, and that's what I'm going to go work on next.
It's ticker trouble. Oh, no.
If I had the lifeline thing that you have in the arenas, just to give it a good pop, it might help.
Well, good luck, Steve. I hope you get this sorted. Hey, we've got a beautiful day today, although there might be a bit of smoke haze in the warm air. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment. And I got to tell you something exciting. We are going to be giving away tickets to see one of Canada's big rock bands. I'll tell you which one and when you can win the tickets and how you can win the tickets coming up in just a moment. But first, let's get to the sports. For the Toronto Blue Jays, a lot of trade action taking place yesterday, and general manager Ross Atkins believes his struggling squad improved its roster after a blended trade deadline that saw him add proven starting pitchers like Jose Soriano and Spencer Arrighetti, while subtracting Dalton Varsho, yes, we say goodbye to him, and Jeff Hoffman as well. Atkins figures his moves will give Toronto a shot to compete for an AL wildcard spot in the final couple of months of the season. The Jays are 4 games out of that berth right now. And by the way, like we said, we're saying goodbye to some players like Dalton Varsho. He was commenting on this. He made his Astros debut last night, just hours after he was traded. Varsho says he's got a lot of memories and emotions flooded in after learning of the trade.
Just the friendships that you kind of create over there and the experience you kind of lived with those guys of last year with the World Series and all the things you kind of grinded together.
And not only was it you playing with the Astros, he was playing against the Jays. He singled and walked while batting cleanup in Houston's 3-1 loss to Toronto. What else is going on in sports? Well, for local baseball, interesting because we had 2 Harbor Cats games last night in different places because they did a split squad thing. The A squad played in Wenatchee on the road with a playoff spot still in the balance. Victoria was defeated 5-2 in the first contest of a 3-game series against Wenatchee. They'll play again tonight on the road. Now, the other squad was playing at home for the big fan appreciation night, the fireworks, all that at Royal Athletic Park last night. They played against the SIBL All-Stars, and it was the All-Stars who took the victory 10-8 in the end. We have in lacrosse, Victoria's Shamrocks kicking off the Senior A Western Lacrosse Association playoff. It's a best of 5, and game 1 is going to be at the Q Center tonight. Shamrocks taking on the Nanaimo Timbermen in this first series, and that is your CFAX Sports to 7:10. Yeah, stand by. Big concert announcement for you next. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather at 7:11. This won't be until later, but do watch out because road closures will happen along Dallas between Memorial Crescent on one side and Douglas Street on the other side, starting around 3 this afternoon. That is because, of course, the Snowbirds will be doing their big full 45-minute performance just off the coast there, right off of Dallas Road. That'll be at the center of it. People are invited to come down and check it out, but do watch out for road closures and a lot of congestion in the area for the afternoon. For this morning, just starting up a few moments ago, some Fortis BC work, Langford Parkway. Watch out for that. It's going to take place every day this week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. BC Ferries, the 8 o'clock sailing is coming up next, and it is 91% full, possible sailing weight at 8 as we have a busy day at BC Ferries here after a long weekend. For the weather forecast, mainly sunny today, although there could be some smoke haze in the air. We're getting a bit of that from the interior sort of wafting our way today. Highs of 27, a little cooler by the water, but some humidity as well, making it feel like 30 today. So quite a warm day. Clear skies tonight, lows of 13. Tomorrow, same forecast, sunny, highs of 28. Humid, maybe a bit cooler by the water. Right now, it's starting to warm up. Official temperature, the one at the airport, is 14 degrees right now. In downtown Victoria, in the Inner Harbor, it is 14.2. Getting our first look at the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto starting the day up for 388 points to 35,614. The Dow is up 494 to 53,672. NASDAQ up 328 to 26,217, and the Canadian dollar at 71.1 cents US, which is technically down. It's pretty much where it was yesterday, but down a fraction of a cent.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Oh, I'm really excited about this, Steve. So we've got a concert giveaway coming up just after the 8 o'clock news, sports, and weather.
What are we giving away?
So we are going to be giving away tickets to see this band, Rush. Rush, they're doing their the big tour.
Doing the Canadian thing.
I'll let that play for a second. Anyway, the Rush is beginning their 50-something tour. And it's going to be coming to Rogers Arena in Vancouver on December 15th and 17th. So this is coming up, you got a few months, but the tickets are going on sale soon. And CFAX 1070 wants to send you... we got a pair of tickets to give away every day this week to the December 15th show. So that specific one there. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to play a little game just after the 8 o'clock news, Steve, that we're going to call Rushing Through a Rush Song. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you. We're gonna speed up a Rush song. Yeah, a little chipmunky. And if you can correctly identify the sped up song, you'll get the tickets.
Wow.
So get ready to, don't call now, but after 8 o'clock, give us a call. If you're the lucky caller who gets through and you can identify the sped up Rush song, you'll get the tickets. If not, we'll move on to the next caller. We're ruthless that way. But that's coming up. I'm so excited we got Rush tickets. This is great. I won't speed that one up today, though, because I already played that one. That would be too easy.
That would be too easy.
It's going to be something else.
Do you know that Getty is one of the biggest Blue Jay fans in the world?
I can imagine. Yeah, big Toronto sports guy. He's from Toronto, of course.
Yes.
I wonder how he felt about all the trades yesterday.
There was a lot.
There was a lot going on. Yeah.
Retooling and getting rid of contracts at the same time. Interesting approach.
Yeah.
And headlines today, not yet clear when WestJet will get back to full and normal operations, but flights were slowly getting in the air Monday after a one-day strike by the cabin crew. About 4,400 flight attendants walked off the job early Sunday after the two sides couldn't reach a tentative contract agreement in the pay dispute. There's just one short delay with WestJet flights out of Victoria today so far. Authorities in Washington state say they've arrested a 37-year-old man suspected of intentionally starting one of those devastating wildfires burning around Spokane. The sheriff's office said Monday night they've arrested a man for arson. He's accused of starting the Old Trails fire on Saturday. Social media rumors sparked a migration surge from Morocco to Spain on the weekend. Posts on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok convinced thousands of migrants that the border was open. Within days, an estimated 60,000 people showed up, the largest surge in years. Most have already returned to Morocco. Many migrants also misunderstood Spain's immigration rules, thinking they could stay automatically. Both Moroccan and Spanish authorities were unprepared. They blamed misinformation and smuggling networks. Economic struggles in Morocco continued to drive young people from that nation to seek opportunities abroad. That's your news headlines, the 7:17.
Well, the snowbirds are coming to town. Well, actually, they're already here because they did a little thing at the BC Aviation Museum. Then today, the big show off Dallas Road is going to be happening around 5, although they're going to start closing the streets around 3. So that is the place to be today. We're along the Dallas Road waterfront for the full 45-minute Snowbird Show. Steve Hale, president of the BC Aviation Museum, is going to be joining us in just a few moments to talk about what we can expect today, but also what's going on with the BC Aviation Museum and their connection to all of this. Of course, they've got a snowbird. They got one of the jets that's on display. They were doing this stuff yesterday. Let's catch up with them next.
Right now at Borden Mercantile, oven-baked dog and cat food is on sale. Buy one, get one free on canned food and treats. Borden Mercantile on Borden Street near Quadra and Mackenzie.
CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. Hey, if you are heading out to see the snowbirds later this afternoon off the Dallas Road waterfront, the weather could not be better. I mean, maybe a little on the warm side, so be prepared for some heat. We got sunshine. We got highs of 27, humidex of 30, so feeling a little warmer. But this is the thing. If you're along the Dallas Road waterfront, we are expecting it to feel a little cooler where the winds blow on shore. So it could be a little cooler by the water. So not just prepare for the heat, but, maybe prepare for it to be a little cooler once you get down to the ocean front and you camp out to see the snowbirds. Anyway, so that's the weather forecast for today. Clear skies tonight, by the way, lows to 13. For the traffic situation, we've got no major issues right now. We do have some new road work starting up. It's Fortis BC work. They're going to be doing a gas main construction. This is right at Langford Parkway, around about Langford Lake area. So watch out for that. Langford Lake Road, I should say, is where they'll be along the Langford Parkway. And that's going to be every day this week, not just today, and going until 7 p.m. Watch out for delays. For the BC ferries, no sailing rates right now, but the 8 o'clock is getting close. It's 91% full right now.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Getting hyped for the Snowbirds display happening later this afternoon. So now's a good time to dig into some of the passion for flight we have locally with the BC Aviation Museum. They actually had the Snowbirds there yesterday for this open house. Steve Hale is the president, and he's joining us on the line. How you doing, sir?
Awesome, Ryan. Thanks so much for calling.
Oh, great to get you here. So yesterday, kind of in the lead up to this big show today, you had all this stuff going on at the BC Aviation Museum. You had the Snowbirds there. They were signing autographs. Talk us through how yesterday went.
It was an absolutely blockbuster day. Mother Nature was very, very cooperative. We had perfect weather, clear skies. The snowbirds came by at noon, just shortly after noon, and did a flyover, very low, very close and personal. We could see their faces in the cockpit, and they just stirred up the crowd like crazy. Then they landed, had a bit of lunch, and came over. And I'm not kidding. We had a lineup for autographs that was about half a kilometer long.
Wow. So people really came out to see them. And I guess, it's not just that the snowbirds are cool at the best of times, but this year is different because whenever they do something like this, sign autographs at the Aviation Museum, or like this afternoon, do the full performance off the Dallas Road waterfront, there's this sense of this could be the last time. And I think there's probably that extra bit of attention on it.
Well, it was a very, very bittersweet moment for us at the museum. The sweet part was that we have now revealed our Snowbird 1 aircraft. It's been beautifully reproduced and restored by friends of the museum at BMT. It really, really looks amazing. And that's the leads me to the bitter part, which is this is the last time we're going to see the Snowbirds, certainly in this current format.
Yeah, because I think everybody knows the story now, but the old Tudor jets are going to get retired. There's going to be a bit of a gap while we wait for the replacement planes. So while the Snowbirds are supposed to come back in a few years, it's going to be a few years. So I guess it's just that extra, that extra emphasis on people to get out and see all of this right now, because it could be the last time.
Yeah, yesterday when we were doing our dedication ceremony for the new aircraft, all the Snowbirds were sitting there. And it was just sort of a very emotional moment for me to see these guys who have worked so hard, who have represented our country in an unfathomable way. They've just been unbelievable with their support for the country, waving the flag everywhere, and now they're out of a job.
Yeah. Did you get a sense, because they were there, you had a lot of the pilots there yesterday, like how are they feeling? I mean, I guess they're going to be putting on the brave face and the professional face for everybody. But you get a sense of how they're feeling about this?
Yeah, I can tell in between words that there's a little bit of disappointment. I really feel that they've been let down, but I think even more so they feel the same sort of thing. They of course, are putting on brave faces. They're professionals. They're not going to speak out against the decisions that have been made above them. But I could tell that they were feeling it for sure.
Yeah. Now, we'll talk more about the performance today in a moment, but just back to yesterday. So the other thing, not only did you have the Snowbirds there, but like you said, you've got this Tudor jet on display. One of the Snowbird aircraft is there. It's on display now. Talk us through how that's looking.
This is amazing. We have an airplane that's been restored to what it would look like in 1971, which is the very first year of the Snowbirds. And this is the actual very first Snowbird aircraft. This aircraft, tail number 175, was the lead aircraft when the Snowbirds were conceived. It gets a little bit more geeky here, but...
hey, we're here for it.
It's not only is it the way it was in 1971, it represents 1973 entirely, because it's the only year that it had the special logo on the tail was 1973. 1974, they changed the whole paint scheme to what you're seeing today. So it's a very, very unique look, and something that we're hoping our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren will be able to come and see at the museum.
I do think these are just cool planes as well, because they were made in Canada. That's neat. Like, we don't necessarily build a lot of our own fighter jets nowadays, but we did then, and we built this one. And the fact that, we only built a few of them, pretty close to the time you're just talking about. I think it was like late 60s. We built a handful of these things, and they're still the ones going now. I mean, I guess that's probably why we're retiring them soon, is because they're quite old. But there's just so much neat Canadian history behind these.
Well, it's not just that it's an incredibly well-built Canadian fighter jet, but so so many of us, including myself, have flown these. And this particular aircraft that we have at the museum, I checked my logbook. I've actually flown it twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Quite amazing, and it just makes it very personal to everybody and their families. I'm not just the only one that's flown this aircraft. We had yesterday about half a dozen people there who had flown that aircraft. So it's kind of like a member of the family.
That's so cool. And neat that it gets to live on there as a display at the BC Aviation Museum. And that's where there was a big activity yesterday. But today it's big activity because the Snowbirds are doing their full 45-minute show off the Dallas Road waterfront. Are you heading down? Where are you going to check this thing out from?
Yeah, Kelly, who's the executive director of the association, she was very kind to send me a VIP pass. So I'll get to go and cook with everybody in the 30-degree temperatures.
Yeah.
And it's a high show, so that's there's no detraction there. It's a full show, but it's a little higher level than they would do at an airfield. The problem being, of course, visibility. You need to be seen, and so pushing it up a little bit won't detract from anything. It's going to be blockbuster. It's going to be fabulous, and you know what? It's history now. We kept mentioning this yesterday at the museum. We're not just witnessing a performance by the Snowbirds, we're witnessing actual history.
Well, check it out today. It is going to be off the Dallas Road waterfront at the CFAX 1070. We'll be broadcasting live from the scene. Josh and Jade will be there. If you tune in to their show, not only are they going to be doing interviews leading up to the performance, we're going to be tapping into the radios and putting some of that on the radio as well. So a great way to sort of watch it, but also listen with the radio as an accompaniment. I think that's going to be a cool thing to do. Well, hey, but in the meantime, thank you so much for talking to us. Steve Hale is president of the BC Aviation Museum. Good luck with the show today.
Great. Thanks, Ryan. Pleasure as always.
All right, we got the 7:30 news coming up next on CFAX 1070.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which
is on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 7:31 on Tuesday, August the 4th. A warm, sunny day today. A little smoke could be in the air as well. Expect a bit of haze. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. There are still only 3 active wildfires here on Vancouver Island. A small fire was discovered on Sunday east of Duncan near Stony Hill. It's listed as under control. Another small blaze is being held. That one began last month west of Campbell River. The Wasp Lake fire, the largest at over 6 hectares, is under control. It's also west of Campbell River. Province-wide, there are 120 active wildfires with 4 new starts over the last 24 hours. 15 fires were declared out yesterday. Meanwhile, the uncontained Spokane, Washington wildfires have forced nearly 65,000 people from their homes and destroyed 700 buildings.
The fires are moving fast into residential neighborhoods where they pose a new, unprecedented risk.
The smoke was very intense. Shouldn't have been back here, but I had to see my house.
Spokane is the state's second largest city, and strong winds are pushing the fires so quickly that entire neighborhoods are charred to chimneys. More than 450,000 acres have been burned so far in Washington state this summer, and 1 person has been arrested for arson in connection with the ongoing blazes. The 3 fires burning simultaneously have also strained firefighting resources. I'm Michael Kastner.
Crash on Sunday in Victoria has gone viral online. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured, according to Victoria Police. An ambulance with sirens blaring hit a Hyundai that didn't slow down at the intersection of Bay and Blanchard. The impact sent the car onto its roof. WestJet resumes the flights yesterday, but hasn't said exactly how long it might take to return to full operations after a 1-day strike and lockout involving the cabin crew. Many stranded passengers still reeling from the cancellations and inconvenience from the labor dispute. WestJet's 4,400 flight attendants will vote in coming weeks on the tentative agreement their union reached yesterday to address wage concerns for work done in flight and on the ground. Parliamentarians are divided over whether hybrid rules for voting and committee meetings should stay in place. This 6 years after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's when members of Parliament began voting and attending committee meetings from home. More from reporter Lisa Laporte.
Conservative MP Michael Chong told the House of Commons in February he thinks Canada should end hybrid parliament, arguing it's the only national legislature amongst Western liberal democracies to remain in hybrid mode. Liberal MP Corey Hogan replied to say, as a father of 3 young children, he's appreciated the flexibility that hybrid sittings have allowed on the unique occasions when it was necessary.
Canadian astronaut Joshua Kutrick is preparing for a mission in space. He's one of the 4 members assigned to NASA's SpaceX Crew Mission 13, set to spend 6 months at the International Space Station. Kutrick grew up on a cattle farm in eastern Alberta and says he's dreamed of doing this his whole life.
Been training for this mission for years, so a lot of excitement there to just go and do it, but also a lot of pride, a sense of being proud to be doing this job, not just as me, but to be doing it for Canada, to be doing it with this flag on my shoulder.
The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft with the crew is expected to take off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on September the 12th. And that's your news to 7:35. Today's CFAX 1070 news poll: would you start using BC Transit or use it more often? Is service and routes improved? We had 3 options. Not interested, by far the winner so far. 66% say nada. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or on the iHeartRadio app. It's 7:36.
Thank you, Steve. We are taking a quick look at the weather. Sunshine today, highs of 27, maybe even a little warmer feeling with the humidex at 30, but a little cooler by the water, so it's that usual mix of things. Also, just a little bit of smoke haze mixed in today as we get a bit of that blowing towards us from the interior in Washington State with the wildfires. We'll get to the full forecast in a moment. Right now, over to the sports. Hey, it's the beginning of the playoffs for the Victoria Shamrocks. They kick off the Senior A Western Lacrosse Association playoffs tonight. It's a best-of-5 format for this opening round. It's the Shamrocks versus the Nanaimo Timbermans. We got this island rivalry going on. The first game is at the Q Center. That's tonight. Second game will be Thursday night at the Frank Crane Arena in Nanaimo. For baseball, the Victoria Harbor Cats were in two places at once yesterday. They did a split squad. They had at the Royal Athletic Park last night, the split squad versus the SIBL All-Stars. It was an exhibition matchup. They had the fireworks and the fan appreciation stuff. Cool night at Wilson's Group Stadium, Royal Athletic Park. For the A squad, though, they were on the road in Wenatchee with a playoff spot in the balance. Victoria defeated 5-2 in the first contest of this three-game set. They'll go again tonight. The Vancouver Whitecaps, tied for first in Major League Soccer's Western Conference, are changing gears a bit tonight. They're hosting Atlanta FC of Mexico City in tonight's League's Cup Group Stage opener at BC Place Stadium. Atlante plays in Liga MX, that's Mexico's top soccer division. The midsummer tournament features 18 select MLS sides and all 18 Liga MX sides. So big Whitecap soccer going on for today. And the Blue Jays continue their series in Houston tonight after a 3-1 win over the Astros. But tonight's play on the field, last night's play on the field, a little overshadowed by all the trade stuff. We, of course, saw Dalton Varsho dealt to the Astros yesterday. It was just hours after he got traded. He was facing his former team, and that's going to be a feature again today. That's your CFAX Sports at 7:38. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Okay, the roads today, a little road work from Fortis BC. They are doing some gas main work from today until August 10th along Langford Parkway near Langford Lake Road. Watch out for delays. Some traffic control happening there. It might be a little slow going right up until 7 p.m. today, and then that's repeating for the next few days. Otherwise, the commute's looking fairly light in the grand scheme of things. No major delays, no major crashes. I'll watch out for road closures around Dallas Road, of course, later today, starting around 3 for the Snowbirds performing off of the waterfront. For the weather forecast today, highs of 27, feeling like 30 in the humidity, though, with a humidex of 30, but also feeling like 19 if you're by the windy one to Fuca Strait. So what does that mean if you're going out to see the Snowbirds tonight? Well, if you're right by the coastline, it could feel cool at times with the wind blowing, but do expect a warm, hot day. With a little bit of wildfire smoke entering into the forecast too, a bit of haze out there. It's not expected to be a kind of like a really low air quality, like slightly worse air quality than usual, but it's not expected to be too bad, but it might be noticeable, a little smoky smelling, a little hazy out there today. Clear skies tonight, lows to 13, sunshine tomorrow, highs of 28 again, and Humidex also making it feel warmer again, so tomorrow feels very much like today. For the rest of the week, it stays sunny, but as we get towards the weekend, just cooling off ever so slightly. Saturday, more like a high of 22 compared to today's temperatures close to 30. On the markets, S&P TSX making some gains to kick off the day. In fact, there's gains across the board. In Toronto, it's up 479 to 35,706. The Dow is up 652 to 53,830. NASDAQ is up 385 to 26,298. Canadian dollar at 71.1 cents US, which is basically where it was yesterday. Technically down a fraction of a cent.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
We love it when you join the conversation at 7:10:10, and we've been talking a lot about the snowbirds as they get ready to perform overhead later this afternoon. Here's what some people are saying. At 7:10:10, texter says, "Good morning. I think the choice of replacing the Tudor jets with a Swiss propeller plane is a step backward and a step down. Perhaps they'll be able to do a little crop dusting on the side." Yeah, people don't like the prop plane idea. Even though I guess these prop planes are not just regular prop planes. They're like these high-performance, crazy fast planes that are used as jet trainers because they've got the same cockpit, I guess, and they go really fast. So it tends to be something that's used as a step towards learning how to fly a jet. But that all aside, all the logic aside, I think the idea that it's not a jet just does sit wrong with some people, Steve.
I think we should bring back the Aero Air.
The Avro Aero?
Yes.
That one? Yeah.
Yes.
That's a
Canadian produced. Let's go.
It's a good bit of Canadian history, a sad bit of Canadian history. This texter says the snowbirds are great pilots, but the jets are embarrassing. Training jets from the 50s? Actually, I think that's the 60s, but still, point taken. Have you seen the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds? Now, those are jets, says the texter. Well, see, there's the other thing. Even if we're moving towards whatever we're moving towards, prop planes or otherwise, I do get the reason why we got to do this. I mean, these things were built in the 1960s. I get it. I get we do need to do something. So point taken, texter. But then this texter has an interesting point. Are you expecting any updates throughout the day on the snowbirds flight being changed because of the smoke and the haze? I don't think so. I don't expect it's going to be that bad. Like, yeah, we've got a little bit of smoke in the air compared to normal, but as far as I can tell, Steve, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not expected to be too thick or too bad, right?
Well, I'm going to make 2 points. It's supposed to lessen as the afternoon progresses, so the forecast on the smoke is that it will actually be better at 5 o'clock than it would, say, at 11 o'clock this morning.
Kind of peaking that sort of middle of the day period.
And the other thing is the Blue Angels managed to deal with it at Seafair as well. So the Blue Angels were in Seattle this weekend.
Okay, yeah.
I saw some of the coverage. Yeah, they're pretty fast.
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't think if it didn't slow them down, it's not going to slow us down. I don't think you have to worry about the smoke as far as, the snowbird show. But yeah, just kind of be aware of it. I think more interestingly, it's going to just be the first time, I think, here in the Victoria area at least, or the South Island, that we'll have seen and smelt the wildfire smoke. We've been fairly lucky all this wildfire season that we haven't had as much of it here.
Yeah, and let's hope that it's not a problem and everybody gets to enjoy a day, because I think we're all looking forward to this. And the fact they're expecting 30,000 people down on the waterfront.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
I think that's cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just shows you the relationship that the snowbirds had built. The other thing I'd add is we don't want snowbirds pilots putting their life on the line because the aircraft is out of gas.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth it. It's personal to me because they used to take me up when I worked at the radio station in Trenton, which is a very large air base for the Canadian military. And they would show me what they were flying, and then I would have second thoughts about whether this was a good idea, because they were pointing out the issues with the helicopters. Remember, we were going to buy new helicopters, and then a government changed based on the fact, we're not going to buy the helicopters, even though we needed the helicopters.
Right, yeah. We have a classic Canada right there.
People, if they're representing our country, give them what they need to succeed. Let's not set them up for failure. How long did we have those Sea Kings go?
Oh, yeah. Well, it seems fairly recently that we were still seeing them overhead. It's got to be a few years now, but within the last few years.
Yeah.
Remarkable. Hey, it's 7:46. Let's get to the rest of the headlines. Apart from the snowbirds, what else is going on there, Steve?
Well, I just checked at the airport. Everything on time for WestJet. A couple of them even took off about 2 minutes early today. They're now back to fairly normal after settling that wage dispute with 4,400 flight attendants. Flights actually began yesterday afternoon, and so far, so good for folks flying out of Victoria International. A tentative deal was reached early Monday, but not before inconveniencing thousands of passengers who had to navigate flight cancellations on a long holiday weekend. A cargo ship reports it's been hit by a projectile off the coast of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. and Iran are making opposing claims about whether they're holding talks or not. Meanwhile, the Houthi rebels say they fired a drone today towards Saudi Arabia. A dozen British Columbians have been named to the Order of BC. The order is considered the province's highest honor, recognizing those who have made exceptional contributions to British Columbia and beyond. This year's appointees include one of the country's top experts in using insects to help in criminal investigations, a FIFA executive, and Canada's first chief accessibility officer. They'll be officially recognized at a ceremony at Government House here in Victoria on September the 24th. That's your news headlines, is 7:48.
You're talking about the WestJet flights. We got some of them going, and we're waiting to see when the rest of the system comes back fully because, of course, the strike was called off. Some sort of tentative deal has been reached. Let's talk about the travel implications of this WestJet labor dispute. We've got Norman Schaefer. He is founder of the Sydney-based Far and Away Adventures. He's also host of the Far and Away Adventures podcast. He's going to be joining us with some thoughts on the WestJet travel disruptions next.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50/50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out on a summer road trip? Well, shop at Thrifty Foods, swipe your Scene Plus card, and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See in store for details. On the roads, I'll say it again, we got that Fortis BC gas main work, which is taking place Langford Parkway around about Langford Lake Road. It just started up today. They're on now, and it's going to go until 7 p.m. today, and they're going to be doing this right up until August 10th. So expect some traffic delays, some lane obstructions at times, potential detours at times. So that's going to be a bit of a trouble spot for the next little bit. BC Ferry's looking good. We got an 8 o'clock sailing that's full, but it's leaving in 9 minutes. Your next vessel from Swartz Bay to Swanson is the 9, and it's close to 90% full, so a possible sailing wait there. And in the weather forecast, a warm one, sunny, hazy, with a little bit of wildfire smoke creeping into our forecast today. Highs of 27. Feeling warmer with a humidex of 30, but feeling cooler if you're by the Wantafuka Strait, where the winds will be blowing onshore. That's your CFAX 1070 weather and traffic.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Travel certainly in the news recently with the WestJet strike. And as we know, over the weekend, they came to a deal, a tentative deal at least, and some flights have started to go again. But man, it was a major weekend of travel disruptions for a peak weekend, BC Day long weekend here in BC. I mean, it's a civic holiday called other things in other parts of the country as well. So let's get into this. A guy we love to talk travel with is Norman Schaefer. He's in Sydney at Far and Away Adventures. He also hosts the Far and Away Adventures podcast. Norman, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Great to get you here. So for you, did this make you busy? Are people like scrambling to get in touch with you because their flights are getting either delayed or, you know, there's a fear that maybe they'll get delayed? Like how does this play out on a travel agent end of things?
It always gives us a little bit extra to do, that's for sure. But what was a little different this time, and actually I think WestJet did a great job, is quite well in advance of the potential strike, they allowed us to make free changes or cancellations. Also, a week earlier, I was already able to reaccommodate people on other airlines. So that made a huge difference, because when you're right there with someone at the airport with a canceled flight, it's so much more difficult to reaccommodate them with literally no space available.
What do we know about what's happening now? Because it seems like we said they've come to a tentative deal with the between the union and WestJet. There's about 4,400 flight attendants that were affected here or involved in this. There was this brief stoppage over the weekend. Flights are back, but they're not necessarily fully back, right? Like we haven't completely got back to our regular schedule?
Yeah, although it was just 28 hours in the strike, they already had been stopping flights going internationally, so they wouldn't be stranded, both aircraft and employees. So it does takes usually about 3 days, for things to kind of get back to normal. So we're still expecting a number of disruptions for the next few days.
Now, I don't need to get into the details of the contract here in this conversation, but are you hopeful that what you're hearing out of the contract negotiations means that we've got to the end of this thing, or do you think there's any more to this? Or how worried should travelers be about WestJet flights and labor disruptions again on the horizon?
Well, I'm always hopeful. It sounds like the union and the airline have made some significant changes to their contracts. For the last, 30, 40 years or so, they've been negotiating their contracts based on time that the aircraft's in the air. But now they've actually put forward some things to cover ground time and other work that's been done. So I think, very hopeful that this will be the end of this particular dispute anyways.
Perfect. But, we've seen a few of these because we got this WestJet disruption that took place this weekend. Not so long ago, it was Air Canada in a very similar situation, the union for the flight attendants and Air Canada battling out over very similar things. The groundwork, as you said, has been a big point of contention. For people buying airline tickets right now, you've seen these two labor disruptions play out, and maybe you're a bit extra nervous about flying right now because, in 6 months or in 4 months or whenever it is you're flying, because you tend to buy these things fairly far in advance, who could predict what kind of labor disruption will randomly happen that you weren't expecting? What's your advice for people who might be a little worried about flying right now, given these two fairly high-profile strikes we've seen play out in Canada?
Well, it's unfortunate when these things do happen. One thing I have noticed over the 30 years I've been doing this is the unions always time these things to take place over holiday weekends or critical times. So if you're traveling inside different holiday periods, if you really want to, you could kind of research when different contracts are coming due. But to be honest, at the end of the day, these are still very rare moments in time. Over the last 20 years or so, we rarely do see this happening. So. If you really want to hedge your bets, you can always buy 2 sets of tickets. But really, it's just part of air travel, and part of is just to kind of sometimes expect the unexpected and keep your travel plans a little bit flexible. Don't keep things really, really tight. If you got a cruise, don't arrive 5 hours before the cruise is about to leave. You kind of give yourselves a day or two buffer, and that typically is, the best plan of action.
Gotcha. And you started by saying something that was interesting, that, in this particular case with WestJet, they ahead of time started allowing people to rebook or cancel and get their refunds. So I guess there's that as well, that it's not necessarily that you just be out the cost of a flight.
Yeah, and like you said, in this case, it was actually quite unique compared to what we saw last year with Air Canada. They kind of waited until flights were being canceled before they were offering refunds. Here, the airline, could see that there was going to be some potential disruptions, and they could see, where their negotiations were going, perhaps. But they were kind of offering this, and I'm hopeful in the future. If these things do happen, that the airlines will be a little bit more proactive in advance. Yes, they do lose money, but they do gain a lot of credit with their clients who are being able to be reaccommodated in advance.
WestJet and the union representing over 4,000 flight attendants did reach a tentative deal in Calgary over the weekend. After a brief work stoppage, still getting things completely sorted, but we're seeing WestJet flights go again, and just getting a perspective on it from Norman Schaefer. We love talking travel with him. Check out his podcast, the Far and Away Adventures podcast, and also his Sydney office of Far and Away Adventures. Great to talk to you as always. Thank you, sir.
Likewise. Thank you.
Coming up in just a few moments here on CFAX 1070, we're going to be rushing through a Rush song because we have Rush tickets to give away. They're 50-something tours coming to Rogers Arena in Vancouver on December 15th and 17th. We got a pair of tickets to give away to the December 15th show, but you have to correctly identify a Rush song that we will be rushing through. We're going to be playing it fast. We're speeding it up. Can you still tell which one it is? Coming up after the news, sports, weather, traffic, and all that, we'll be taking a call, and the lucky caller gets to play. Stand by for that.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8 o'clock on Tuesday, August the 4th. It's Snowbird Day. Talk about that coming up. Right now, we are going to get to the news. Sitting in for Lisa Best, it's Steve Young. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you, Ryan. Starting with the snowbirds, they'll take flight at 5 o'clock over the skies in Victoria, specifically Dallas Road. It's part of the 55th anniversary celebrations. This year's performance especially significant. It's expected to be the last time the snowbirds perform over Vancouver in their Tudor aircraft, making it a historic farewell. If you can't make it to the waterfront, catch the live broadcast and simulcast right here on CFAX beginning at 4:30. Organizers say you should get there early, take public transit. 30,000 people are expected. There will be road closures as well. Some of the thousands of evacuees forced from their homes over the long weekend in the Vernon area by fires burning around Okanagan Lake are describing what it was like to leave. Atlin Beckers says crews cut apart trees that had fallen on the road so she and about 200 other vehicles could get by. Gord Ross from the local Indian band says the band lost several homes to a fire in 2021, and this year's blaze west of Vernon appears to be worse. Winds as high as 115 kilometers an hour in some spot caused fires to spread rapidly over the weekend across a region dealing with a prolonged drought. Smoke-wise, you can expect to see some smoke in our area and the southern half of Vancouver Island today. If you're in Campbell River and upwards, you're in pretty good shape. Smoke from the fires in the interior and Washington State will waft into our region. The worst of it can be expected late this morning. It eases up as the afternoon progresses. Environment Canada says the air quality index will be at 3 or low risk today. Still with fires, the uncontained Spokane, Washington fires have now forced 65,000 people from their homes, and one person has been arrested.
Incident Commander Tom Clemo says the full extent of the devastation is not yet clear.
The next week or so are going to be extremely difficult.
Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles says 37-year-old Aaron Farinacci has been arrested in connection with one of the fires.
When he was detained, he was found to be in possession of some waterproof matches and a butane lighter.
He's been arrested for arson. I'm Monica Nelson.
StatsCan says the country's merchandise trade surplus rose to $3.9 billion in June. That's compared to $3.7 billion in May. Total exports were up 1.1%. Imports were down 1.5%. StatsCan notes the average value of the loonie dropped 1.7 cents U.S. in June compared to May, the largest monthly decline since October of 2022. The federal NDP's fundraising dropped in the second quarter, while the average size of donations increased. That, according to fundraising figures, the party collected about $1.2 million between April and June from nearly 15,000 donors for an average donation of about $81. The NDP brought in $1.67 billion in the first 3 months of the year, which included the final months of the party's leadership contest. That quarter saw contributions from more than 28,000 supporters, but the average donation was only $59. Sea lion advocates say about 40% of the pups born near San Diego have died this year, far higher than the roughly 10% mortality rate reported at a nearby beach that's closed to the public.
The Sierra Club Seal Society says people getting too close to sea lions can separate pups from their mothers and increase the risk of abandonment. The group wants stronger enforcement, including more warnings, citations, and barriers to keep visitors back from the animals. For now, San Diego Park rangers are limited to warnings and reports to NOAA, since the city says enforcement and federal marine mammal laws fall to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. I'm John Fink.
And a Canadian telecommunications firm has signed a deal worth $2.3 billion with the federal government to provide satellite communications for the armed forces in the Arctic. The Federal Defense Investment Agency and Telesat LCO announced the deal today. It's the largest ever contract for the Ottawa-based company, which has been in operation for about 60 years. That's your news, 2805. And checking your news poll question for today, would you start using BC Transit or use it more often? If service and routes improved, you had three options. I would start. I would use it more. No, I'm not interested. About 2/3 you say, I'm not even giving transit a chance. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. It's 8:07.
Thank you, Steve. Might be a good chance to give transit a chance today if you're trying to get down to Dallas Road to see the snowbirds, because it's going to be busy down there. Some road closures, too. We're going to tell you all about that in just a moment. But right now, let's kick it over to the sports. So much going on, including big changes for the Toronto Blue Jays. General Manager Ross Atkins believes his struggling squad improved its roster yesterday after a blended trade deadline that saw him add proven starting pitchers like Jose Sariano and Spencer Arrighetti, while subtracting Dalton Varsho and Jeff Hoffman. Atkins figures his moves will give Toronto a shot to compete for the AL wildcard spot in the final couple of months of the regular season.
We feel like we've added some impact pitching to our group at the major league level and all the way down to the lower levels of the minor leagues, and some position player depth as well. Obviously, we had to give up things to do that, but we feel like we're in a healthier position.
So one of the things they gave up, of course, was center fielder Dalton Varsho. Now, just in a weird twist, of course, he got dealt to the Astros, who's the team that Toronto was playing. So a couple hours later, all of a sudden, he's on the other team.
Did you see the video?
No, I didn't actually see it, no.
He basically, with his Blue Jays bag, and they're walking him over to the other dressing room after he arrives in Houston.
Yeah.
Then he gets dressed, and he goes out to the field to get ready for the game. And there's Springer and the guys giving him a big hug.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. And what an emotional day. And he even said, how emotional that was.
At the end of the day, it's business. And so you got to kind of wipe it up and kind of go out there and kind of forget about it a little bit quicker.
And he did. It was nice that they gave him some hugs, though. The Jays did beat the Astros and Varsho 3-1. And they're going to do it again tonight. See how it goes. Okay, also in baseball, Harbor Cats. Weird, because they were playing in two places at once last night. Victoria Harbor Cats at home for their fan appreciation fireworks night. It was a split squad, though, in an exhibition matchup against the SIBL All-Stars. The All-Stars win it 10-8. So that was last night at Royal Athletic Park. But then on the road, the A squad was playing in Wenatchee with a playoff spot on the balance. Victoria defeated 5-2 in that game. They've got two more of this series, and that's it for the regular season. Whether or not they move on to a playoff spot is still up in the air. So we'll see how this series goes and a few series around them as well. For the Shamrocks, the cross team, they are also going to be kicking off their playoffs tonight. Shamrocks begin with Game 1 against the Nanaimo Timbermen. Q Center tonight for the beginning of this best-of-5 format playoff round. That's your CFAX Sports to 8:09. Hey, we're pretty close to playing Rushing Through a Rush song. We're going to be giving away Rush tickets coming to Vancouver in December, but you got to identify us playing a Rush song at super speed. You think you can do it? Get ready to call 250-386-1161. 250-386-1161. In just a couple of moments, we're going to take a random caller for the first chance to compete this week. We're doing it all week, too. Rushing through a Rush song. But right now, what's happening on the roads? No major crashes or accidents right now. No major holdups either. It is lighter than usual volume delays. This is the week of BC Day. We're just getting back off a long weekend. There's not as many people commuting today for sure. We do have road work, Langford Parkway near Langford Lake Road. Watch out for that. They're doing BC Fortis BC gas main work there all this week. It's going to be a feature through the week. For Dallas Road by the waterfront, watch out for road closures starting around 3 for the big Snowbird show. That's where the Snowbirds will be. CFAX 1070 will be broadcasting live from the scene as well. So stay tuned and keep your eyes on the skies. 5 o'clock is when the show begins, but 3 o'clock is when the road closure of Dallas Road between Douglas on one side and Memorial Crescent on the other side will begin. In the weather forecast, if you're going to be out there watching the Snowbirds, be ready for the heat. Sunny, highs of 27, a humidex of 30, so feeling a little warmer. Could be cooler by the water, though, so, expect that as well. We've also got a bit of haze in the air. The haze is coming from the smoke out of the interior and Washington State. We're seeing a little bit of that wildfire smoke blown over. It should not be too thick, and it might be kind of peaking midday and then sort of easing off a little bit as we get further into it. Right now, the temperature is officially at the airport, 16 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX up 451 to 35,677. Dow Jones in New York rocketing up 763 to 53,941. NASDAQ up 403 to 26,317. Canadian dollar at 71.1 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Oh, I'm so excited to try this. I have no idea how this is going to go. This is going to be random. We're going to speed up a Rush song, because we're rushing through Rush. Call me now at 250-386-1161. I'm going to take a random caller, and I'm going to play you the clip. If you get it right, you'll win tickets to see Rush bringing their 50-something tour to Rogers Arena in Vancouver. We got 2 shows in Vancouver. I've got tickets to the December 15th show. Tickets are on sale now, but why not just try to win them here? We're going to play you that song. I'm taking the first random caller here. Random caller, who's this?
Hi, this is Joe.
Joe, okay. Now, Joe, you're the first contestant. Yeah. It doesn't mean you've won. You have to correctly identify the name of this Rush song once I play it for you. If you get it right, you got the tickets. If you get it wrong, though, I got to move on, okay?
He's nervous.
Are you there, Joe?
I'm here waiting.
Okay. So those are the rules. I'm going to play you the song now. And at the end of it, see if you can guess what this is. Okay. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Here it comes. That's already great. His voice is high at the best of times. Okay. Joe. Alvin! Just definitely giving it the chipmunk treatment. Joe, any sense of what we just heard there? What Rush song was that?
That is Closer to the Heart.
That's a winning guess right there. Wow.
Oh, yeah!
Joe, congratulations. You're going to see Rush December 15th in Vancouver at Rogers Arena.
Oh, my God, yeah! Woo! That's awesome, man!
That's a good way to start a Tuesday.
You got to be kidding me, right?
Yeah, no, I've got tickets for you. I'm going to give them to you.
I'm crying, man.
Aw. Now, was that hard at all, or did you know it right away?
Right away.
Right away. That's good.
I'm a hardcore Rush fan. It could have been harder.
Okay, well, tomorrow we'll see if we can crank it up a little bit. Joe, I'm so glad you won. It sounds like we just made your day.
Yeah, I'm phoning my son right now. He's going to be over the moon.
Oh, so cool. Well, hold on the line. Don't go anywhere, Joe, because I'm going to take some information from you off the air, and we'll get you your tickets. Well, let's do this again tomorrow. If you didn't win, don't worry. We're going to do this every day this week around the same time. Call in. If you can correctly identify us rushing through a Rush song, you too could win tickets. That did crack me up, though, Steve.
I'm just glad he didn't take it personally, because Rush fans take the music personally.
That's true,
and
yeah.
hearing it that way.
Yeah.
Some of them, I was worried.
Yeah.
I was worried. I was concerned. Anyway,
All right.
all good.
What's going on in the news, Steve?
Not yet clear when WestJet will get back to full and normal operations, but flights were slowly getting in the air on Monday after a one-day strike by the cabin crew. About 4,400 flight attendants walked off the job early Sunday after the two sides couldn't reach a tentative agreement in their pay dispute. WestJet flights to Victoria today, well, so far they're right on time and even a couple of minutes early. Two planes from a pair of flight schools crashed midair over Chilliwack yesterday. Gary Atkins with the Chilliwack Airport says one aircraft carrying two occupants landed safely at the airport. The second went down in a quarry lagoon and became submerged. One person was reported to be on board that aircraft. They haven't been recovered at this point. Backpacks often become too heavy for kids as students carry laptops, textbooks, and more these days. Although 10 to 15% of a child's body weight is often cited as a backpack guideline, pediatricians say there isn't enough evidence to establish a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, they warn that backpacks may be too heavy if a child leans forward or struggles to walk. To keep a child's backpack lighter, teachers suggest focusing on essential supplies and avoiding trendy or decorative items. Look at your child's homework schedule. Do they really need to carry all their textbooks and laptop every day? Experts recommend backpacks with padded straps and compartments to distribute the weight more evenly. And that's your news headlines to 8:18.
Would you have been able to guess this? Rushing through a Rush song.
Yeah. Because closer, we've heard that song for so long. Like, that's one of the classics, right?
Yeah. I wonder if I'll need a deeper cut tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
The
speed
old
some
album cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what we dream up tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, we got some time. But play again tomorrow. Same time. We will be rushing through a Rush song. Coming up next, we're going to explore one of the stories in the news from last week that we didn't get a chance to really unpack. So remember, last week, Steve, we heard that the federal government was giving some infrastructure money around. $7 million was going to the CRD for their biochar, taking some of the sewage, sludge that we separate in our treatment process. It's going to pipe up to the Heartland landfill, as it already does, but building a facility to turn it into this biochar stuff. That was one of the things to get this federal money. The other thing, though, is a fire hall in Metchosin. Let's find out more about that. We're going to be talking to the mayor of Metchosin coming up next. Need a cab? Well, download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946, and they're bringing us the traffic and weather. What's going on out there on the roads? So far, a fairly smooth day. No major crashes, incidents, and not a lot of volume, not a lot of congestion. I think it's a week where a lot of folks are taking the week off or just out of their regular routines. There will be fairly big road closures around Dallas Road, though, starting around 3 this afternoon as the snowbirds will be overhead. More on that coming up. But yeah, do watch out for the restrictions and road closures surrounding the waterfront around Dallas later this afternoon. Another thing to talk about when it comes to the skies, not only will we have the snowbirds overhead, we're going to have a bit of smoke haze overhead because some of the smoke from the interior, from Washington State, kind of wafting our way today. It's not expected to be too severe, but you might notice a little bit of haze. You might notice a little bit of a smell kind of middle of the day, later morning into the middle of the day is when that might be at its peak. But we'll watch for that. Just be cautious. It's also going to be hot. Highs of 27, a humidex of 30, so feeling a little warmer in the humidity is another thing to watch out for today, although it could be a bit cooler by the water, so who knows if you're down by the Wandafika Strait, down by Dallas Road for the snowbirds, maybe a little cooler if you're there. For the rest of the week, it's going to be a low of 13 overnight with sunshine again tomorrow and the exact same temperatures and conditions expected. It's actually very similar right through the week, maybe cooling off a little bit into the weekend.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Well, Metchosin was one of the recipients of a $7 million infrastructure grant, which could be a big deal for the district as it navigates increasingly tricky financial demands and the need for a fire hall. So here to join us and talk more about the money, we got Metchosin Mayor Marie-Therese Little joining us on the line. Hello, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Great to get you here. So, yeah, great news for Metchosin, I'm assuming, getting this grant. How did it go over?
Oh, absolutely. This is, and thank you for having me on your program today. We're so excited at the District of Metchosin. So this grant of $7 million from the federal government and with cooperation from the provincial government through UBCM is absolutely monumental to Metchosin because this is a grant that is 7 times the grant that we've ever received, which was $1 million before. So this is 7 times that we've ever seen before. This is consequential, monumental, and it will help us replace the aging 1950s fire hall with a modern post-seismic facility that will be to post-disaster standards and WorkSafe BC standards and BC Building Code. It's all really terrific news for my community.
Wow. And you said the current fire hall is a 1950s structure?
Yeah, we have 2 buildings at the firehouse. We have a administration building that was built originally of cinder block without any kind of reinforcement like rebar in the 1950s, renovated in the 1960s. That was condemned in the 1980s. In the 1990s, an apparatus bay was added. So that's the newer structure in the 1990s. But as you might well imagine, there's numerous deficiencies within both of those buildings. We want a safe post-seismic, post-disaster building, not only for our firefighters, but also to get the trucks out in the case of an emergency. And there's a number of deficiencies that have been noted way back. Our former fire chief, Stephanie Dunlop, who also helped with the grant, by the way. We're very grateful to her. She noted a number of deficiencies at the apparatus bay, the 1990s structure, as early as 2012, 14. And it's just time to get those fixed.
Yeah. Now, this is, I think people will know where these are, but it's right in that kind of Metchosin Village area. You got the Metchosin Cafe, and there's the community hall, and all that stuff is right there. This is fairly close by to all of that. When a new fire hall is built, is it to be built in the same spot, or where will you put this one?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Good question. We have approval from the Agricultural Land Commission to build on the site that the District of Metchosin now owns, just adjacent to the fire hall.
Okay.
And so those conversations are going to be had because we now have approval from the ALC, the Agricultural Land Commission, to use that District of Metchosin ALR land. That is land that will never probably be used for agriculture. It's probably quite contaminated because we now park cars on there during events such as the farmers market and Metchosin Day. So it is sitting fallow, that land, and it would be great to be able to use it for the new fire hall, and then we wouldn't have to have that expense of a temporary fire hall while we tear down the old portion of the firehouse, which is the administration building. I actually see that we can repurpose the apparatus bay because it is a 1990s structure. The doors are too narrow, but it would be great for our Metchosin Search and Rescue program, who provide services not only for Metchosin but out towards the peninsula and Esquimalt. It would be great to house our ham radio operators, or at least their equipment, so it can be repurposed for at least storage of our trucks, so they're not sitting out in the rain, deteriorating.
We're talking to the mayor of Metchosin because they have received a $7 million infrastructure grant to help build this new fire hall, as we've been talking about. Last question for you. If you didn't get this grant, how would you have pulled this off?
Oh, gosh, that would have been so difficult. So the grant is designed for municipalities such as ours that just don't have the funds to make large infrastructure repairs. And we are so grateful to the federal government, in particular our MP, Stephanie McLean, as well as Dana Lejeunesse, our MLA, for collaborating with us. It would have been so difficult. We still have our Growing Communities Fund that we received from the province. We haven't spent a penny of that we received. I think it was 2023. We received about 2.3 million. We haven't spent a penny, and that has accrued in interest. So we're very frugal at the District of Metchosin. We saved that. We've got some reserve funds, but it would have been very difficult to do a rebuild like we absolutely need. All the professionals have said we need a rebuild, not just a minor fix of deficiencies, because if you see the roof of the administration building, you'll understand how many layers of tar and replacement and how much money has been put into patchwork repairs. We want to avoid that in the future. And also we want to be environmentally sensitive. There's going to be a very flat roof that's sloping. Why can't we put panels on it, for instance, for capturing sun energy, make the whole thing very environmentally friendly, and these funds allow us to get to that step, and we are so grateful.
Marie-Therese Little is the mayor of Metchosin. Thanks so much for talking to us about the story here, and good luck as you can proceed with the fire hall project. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
We'll take a break. We got a lot coming up still on the show. We're going to talk all about the snowbirds coming to town today. It's Snowbirds Day. More on that coming up. We've got your traffic, weather, and news as well. Everything you need to know to start this day in just a moment here on CFAX.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8:32 on Tuesday, August 4th. It's sunny. It's warm. Might even have a little smoke in the air. A little bit of haze expected for today in Victoria. We'll tell you all about it and weather. But first, let's get to the news. Sitting in for Lisa Best, here is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. 3 active wildfires here on Vancouver Island right now. A small fire discovered on Sunday east of Duncan near Stony Hill. It's listed as under control. Another small blaze being held. It began last month west of Campbell River. The Lost Lake fire is the biggest one, over 6 hectares. It's under control. Province-wide, there are 120 active wildfires, 4 new starts over the last 24 hours. 15 fires were declared out yesterday. With thousands forced from their homes due to fires around Okanagan Lake, the Salvation Army in Vernon has become a place for people to gather as they figure out what's next.
Charity spokesman Ron Cartmell says it opened Friday to offer emergency support services. He says since then, local businesses have stopped by with help ranging from pallets of bottled water to hamburgers and coffee. Cartmell says the community is doing what it can to ease some of the pain and the trauma evacuees are experiencing. He says he's spoken to people who are on their 3rd wildfire evacuation in 7 years. As of late Monday, there were about 120 fires burning across BC, 50 of them classified as out of control. Lisa Laporte, The Canadian Press.
2 flight school planes crashed yesterday while flying near Chilliwack.
Gary Atkins with the Chilliwack Airport says one of the aircraft was carrying 2 occupants and safely landed at the airport. He says the second plane became submerged in a quarry lagoon and 1 person was reported to be on board. BC Emergency Health Services says 5 ambulances were dispatched to an area northwest of the airport. Officials say no patients were taken to hospital. Chilliwack is about 100 kilometers east of Vancouver. Aaron Sousa, The Canadian Press.
Crash Sunday in Victoria went viral. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured, according to Victoria Police. An ambulance with sirens blaring hit a Hyundai that didn't slow down for the intersection of Bay and Blanchard. The impact sent the car onto its roof. U.S. President Donald Trump issuing a warning that he is giving Iran, quote, one last chance to make a deal.
Key to any deal will be the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, but even this deal being discussed would not take it back to the free passage through the strait that was in place before the war began. For now, Iran, though, saying that they are only talking with Oman and not the U.S. about a deal to reopen that strait.
That's your news, 8:35. Today's CFAX 1070 News poll, would you start using BC Transit or use it more often if the service and routes improved? Most of you say they're not interested in traffic. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or on the iHeart Radio app. It's 8:36.
Thank you, Steve. A little smoky potentially today. A little haze coming in the forecast. It's expected to kind of build up a little bit midday. Not necessarily huge wildfire smoke, but just maybe a little bit more noticeable, maybe a little hazy. And if you're smelling it already somewhere out there in Greater Victoria, let me know. Text me at 71010. I'd be curious to see if it's visible or at least noticeable where you are. We'll get to the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, let's get to the sports. Lots going on for the Victoria Shamrocks. They're kicking off the Senior A Western Lacrosse Association playoffs tonight with a game against the Nanaimo Timbermen. Yeah, we got an island rivalry going. It's a best of 5 for this first opening round of the WLA playoffs. So that first game tonight at the Q Center. Game 2 will be in Nanaimo at the Frank Crane Arena. So that's coming up today. Also today, we've got another game for the Victoria Harbour Cats. They'll be playing Game 2 of 3 against Wenatchee. They dropped the first game yesterday, 5-2, in kind of a weird scenario because it was the A squad for the Harbour Cats that were playing in Wenatchee. The other half of the squad playing at home at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium, for an exhibition match against the SIBL All-Stars. This was a big fan appreciation night. We had the fireworks out there. The All-Stars won the game 10-8. If you're out there and saw the fireworks, I hope it was a great time. For the Vancouver Whitecaps, they're tied for first in Major League Soccer's Western Conference. Looking good, but now it's a new challenge. They host Atlanta FC of Mexico City in tonight's Leagues Cup group stage opener at BC Place Stadium. Atlante plays in Liga MX, Mexico's top division. The midsummer tournament features 18 select MLS sides and all 18 Liga MX sides. So yeah, Whitecaps getting into it as of tonight. Oh, and we're already talking baseball. I'm going to go back to baseball for a second because the Toronto Blue Jays with a bunch of moves yesterday for the trades. Ross Atkins, general manager, believes his struggling club will improve because of the blended trade deadline moves. Proven starting pitcher Jose Sariano and Spencer Arrighetti have been acquired. Dalton Varsho, Jeff Hoffman have been dealt away. Taking the blame for the Blue Jays' current season, Atkins says he was pleased with what they were able to achieve with the changes.
We're turning our focus to continuing to win games and compete this year and make us better for the 27 years season and beyond that, and feel that we've accomplished that.
The Blue Jays continue their series in Houston tonight after a 3-1 win over the Astros yesterday. Toronto, by the way, a weird scenario where Dalton Varsho, who was traded to the Astros, was all of a sudden facing his former team, and he's going to do that for a second straight night after being traded at yesterday's deadline. That's your CFAX Sports to 8:39. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, the design for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, things are looking clear right now. No crashes or accidents to report. If you see something, though, you can text me at 71010. Road work on Langford Parkway near Langford Lake Road. It's Fortis BC gas main work. It's going to go on until 7 p.m., and it's going to be going on for a few days. So watch out for some delays and some possible lane closures as they kind of go along that project. For the BC ferries, 9 o'clock is full from Swartz Bay to Swanson. The 10 o'clock is 80% full. And now over to the weather. Sunshine today, but maybe some smoky haze in the air a little bit with some of the wildfire smoke from the interior from Washington State, those big fires burning elsewhere, kind of blowing our way a little bit today. Maybe peaking late morning into the early afternoon. Highs of 27 otherwise, a humidex of 30, so feeling a little hot in the humidity, and feeling even cooler, though, if you're by the water, so it could even feel like 19 degrees if you're right along the windy Wantafuca Strait. So, per usual, a very different temperature depending on where in Victoria you are. Clear skies tonight, lows to 13. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs at 28 with a humidex at 31. It's sounding very much like today. Then Thursday, same thing again. Sunny, high at 26. Friday, sunny, high at 25. Saturday, sunny, high of 22 as we cool off a little bit into the weekend. markets. S&P TSX up 456 to 35,682. The Dow is up 813 now at 53,991. The NASDAQ is up 496 to 26,410. So huge gains across the board. Canadian dollar, though, down just a slight little bit. It's actually the same number it's been at. It's just down a fraction of a cent, but at 71.7 cents US.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, this is cool. Pacific FC with a home game this weekend, and I got tickets.
We've got lots of tickets today.
It's just like a wash in tickets. I can't.
Better effort on Friday night.
Yes, let's talk about this.
They almost won.
Yeah.
It's been a rough year. Let's just put it bluntly. It's been a rough year. They need your support.
They really do. They still haven't got that win yet. I think, being at the game where they finally get the first win of the season, that'll just feel like a big achievement. I think that'll be a moment. I know that sounds silly, but I feel like, sometimes those little victories in a difficult situation can feel just as good as like the big win at the end. I don't know. Am I making any sense?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's more than just one victory. It's making sure you don't go the schneid for a whole year.
Yeah.
So it must be like a monkey on their backs at this point.
Yeah. You want to try to be there when they maybe shake it off. Like you said, they lost 2-1 to FC Super de Quebec back on, it was Friday, wasn't it? Just Friday. So this time they're playing Toronto, Starlight Stadium. Do you want to go? I got tickets. I'm going to give them away right now.
Let's give them away right now.
I was speeding up Rush songs earlier. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to take a caller at 250-386-1161. First caller. 250-386-1161. You didn't even know this was happening. I didn't tell anybody. So we're gonna take a caller in a second. If you want to go see Pacific FC this weekend, it's Saturday, 3 p.m. against Toronto. 250-386-1161. Like I said, I'll just take the first caller. Who's this?
This is Amanda.
Amanda, thanks for calling. I'm going to give you some tickets to go see Pacific FC.
Wonderful.
Are you a fan?
So much. Well, we're sports fans, so any chance to get out and take in the scene, we're on it.
Excellent.
We're all about it.
Perfect. Well, I got 4 tickets actually for you for this.
Oh wow!
So you can have a party.
We're gonna just sell some numbers here.
Well,
that's awesome.
I really hope you're there for their first win of the season. I mean, the new coach is there. Hopefully, they're turning things around. Steve says they were looking better on Friday.
I heard that. Let's toss that monkey indeed.
Yeah. Great. Well, Amanda, you'll be there. And fingers crossed this is going to happen. Because you're there, this is going to happen. So hold on the line. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take some information off air and get you the tickets. I got a bunch of these packs of tickets to give away. So tomorrow, let's do it again, Steve.
I think we shall.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. We are talking all about the snowbirds today. It is Snowbird Day in Victoria off the Dallas Road waterfront. They're going to be doing the performance at 5. Roads will be closed a couple of hours earlier. We're going to talk about that because CFAX 1070 is also there broadcasting live from the scene. Josh and Jade will be on scene. They're going to be not just bringing you the sort of the flavor of what it's like down there. They're also going to be broadcasting some of the sounds of the actual, radios behind the scenes as they're talking about stuff. So we're going to go over how all this works with Josh. He's joining us in just a moment. But first, here are the headlines with Steve.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. The federal government advancing the process to designate a proposed oil pipeline to the West Coast as a national interest project. Designating a project as being in the national interest under the Building Canada Act allows the government to fast-track approvals and skirt some environmental laws. A notice published in the Canada Gazette on August 1st sets a September 18th deadline to submit comments on the national interest designation. The government's notice says Intergovernmental Affairs Minister Dominique LeBlanc will work with the Alberta and BC governments while consultations with Indigenous communities are already underway. The proposed pipeline is a central component of an energy agreement between the federal and Alberta governments. A man who went to prison for manslaughter in his father's 2010 killing in Arizona has been charged with setting the largest of the wildfires that has destroyed 700 buildings plus and forced about 67,000 people from their homes in and around Washington State's second largest city. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says the 37-year-old man was arrested Monday and booked on suspicion of first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire. It's the largest of the three blazes in and around Spokane. And that's your news headlines to 8:47.
There we go. Just talking to Amanda off the air about the tickets. And yeah, you too could win tickets to see Pacific FC all this week here on the show. And we've also got the Rush tickets. We're rushing through Rush. We'll do this again tomorrow. If you missed it, just after the 8 o'clock news tomorrow, we will play a sped-up Rush song. And if you can guess what the song is correctly, you will get tickets to see Rush bringing their tour to Vancouver in December. So there'll be a Rogers Arena. I got tickets to give away tomorrow. If you can figure out what Rush song we're rushing through. That's tomorrow just after the 8 o'clock news. Don't miss it. But today it's all about the snowbirds. They'll be over Victoria this afternoon, centered around the Dallas Road waterfront, and CFAX 1070 will be there. We'll be taking you through the event live on the radio with Josh and Jade. And Josh is up next to tell us more about it.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Celebrate our coast at Cadbro Bay Festival, Sunday, August 9th from 11 to 3 p.m. Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out on a summer road trip? Well, shop at Thrifty Foods, swipe your Scene Plus card, and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See you in store for details. Okay, on the roads, no crashes or any major incidents like that to report right now, but we do have a couple of bits of road work to talk about. Fortis BC gas main work, Langford Parkway by Langford Lake Road. That's going to be happening not just today, but for the next few days. And then with the snowbirds coming to town, this will be later this afternoon, but around about 3 o'clock, expect Dallas Road and some of the surrounding streets to start to shut down as the road fills up with spectators ready to see the snowbirds overhead. They're going to begin at 5, but yeah, the road closures will begin around 3. For the BC Ferries, it's a one-sail wait at 9. 10 o'clock sailing is about 80% full from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And the weather forecast, sunshine, maybe a little hazy with a little bit of wildfire smoke creeping over the South Island today in the forecast. For the temperatures, it's a high of 27, maybe feeling a bit warmer in this humidex of 30, so feeling like 30 in the humidity. But a bit cooler by the water. So if you're heading down to Dallas Road, could be a little cooler with the breeze, but it is going to be a hot day, so dress accordingly.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, you know who's going to be down there along Dallas Road for the Snowbirds? Well, it's Josh along with Jade, because we're taking the afternoon show here on CFAX on the road, and we will be broadcasting from the scene. Josh is on the line right now. Josh, how you doing?
Good morning, Ryan. I am doing fantastic and really looking forward to what's going to happen in about 8 hours' time.
I'm really excited that we're going to be down there. Where exactly are you going to be?
We're going to be along Dallas Road near Clover Point, but not quite there. I think if Dallas and Linden Avenue, I think, is whereabouts we will be.
Right, so kind of in the Clover Point vicinity. That's where you'll be broadcasting your 3 to 6 afternoon show from the scene. Right. What's going to be happening? Because I know we're going to be getting some guests. You're going to be setting the scene, talking about what it's like down there. But then something really cool will happen once the show starts. So tell us what we're going to hear.
Well, first of all, just to kind of set the scene, it is the 55th anniversary season of the Snowbirds, and this, as everybody knows, is the final season of the iconic CT-114 Tudor. That's the aircraft that Canadians have associated with the Snowbirds since 1971. We've learned this year they announced the Tudors will be replaced by the Siskin II aircraft, but that's not expected to come online until the early 2030s. So really, this is the final opportunity for Vancouver Islanders and folks around Victoria to see the Tudor era of the Snowbirds in person. So what's going to happen today is sometime around 5 o'clock, they're going to begin their demonstration. I mean, the party starts probably around 4 with the land acknowledgement. And then, of course, Jade and I will be there all afternoon long doing our show live from the scene. But at about 5 o'clock, the Snowbirds will take over our airwaves as well, because we have managed to secure a feed to the live cockpit conversations between the pilots and the controller, the air boss on the ground, and we get to listen in real time as they talk amongst themselves. We're going to do this, we're going to swing right, we're going to do this move now. It'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be a rare glimpse inside what they're doing in the formation without actually having to leave the ground.
Oh, that is so cool. And I was telling people earlier here on the show that my tip is to get the iHeartRadio app if you don't have it already on your smartphone or whatever it is you have out there. Put in your earbuds, and you will be able to not just be down on Dallas Road watching the Snowbirds up ahead, but if you got CFAX on, you'll be able to hear what they're talking about in the cockpit.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what part of town you're in, for that matter. If you don't want to make it down to Dallas Road, because they are expecting about 20 to 30,000 people to come down. If the crowds sound daunting, you'll be able to see it from, all over town, and you can listen to it live of what's happening on CFAX, especially on your AM radio or the iHeartRadio app, and you can kind of stay tuned with exactly what they're doing as they're doing it. I'm really looking forward to that aspect myself.
I think that's so neat. Down there, you and Jade will be there. Will people be able to wave hi at you?
Absolutely, yeah. Come by and say hi. Honestly, I'm not sure how close you'll be able to get, because we're going to be pretty close to the the setup that the Snowbirds have as well, because we're really nearby. So I don't know how controlled the scene is, but it is a good reminder that Dallas Road will be closed starting at around 2:30 today, from what I see in the schedule, from all the way from Douglas over to Memorial Crescent. Clover Point itself, by the way, will be closed to kind of between the washrooms down to like the end of Clover Point. So that won't be accessible at all. Definitely no access for parking. And there will be closures along May, Memorial Crescent, and Cook Street as well to kind of prevent non-residential access to the neighborhood there.
And I think we've already said this, but this is the full performance, by the way. This is like a 45-minute demonstration that the Snowbirds will be doing over Victoria.
Oh, absolutely. And so I had a chance on Friday, actually, to speak with the air boss, Major Blake McNaughton. And I asked him kind of what still makes him stop and watch after all these years. And what he told me was the opening loop still gives him goosebumps. And he also signaled out a maneuver that folks will want to watch for called the line abreast combo, which he says no other team in the world performs. And he described it in an interesting way, kind of like imagine 5 cars driving side by side on a highway. So clearly not a highway here on the island, but at highway speeds, and then while 5 abreast at highway speeds entering a roundabout together. He said that's one of the moments that he'll be watching for, and definitely one that I'm going to be watching for. And then, of course, you've got the opposing solo jets flying towards each other. They look almost like near misses, but are incredibly precise and highly controlled. It's going to be a great show.
Josh and Jade will be broadcasting live from Dallas Road. Keep it on CFAX 1070 all afternoon with the lead up to the event. And like Josh said, the radio broadcast of what's going on in the cockpit, the pilots and the ground team all talking to each other. You'll be able to hear it right here on CFAX during the show. You don't want to miss it on radio or in person out there along the waterfront. But Josh, looking forward to it. You and Jade out there. Thanks so much for giving us the heads up here.
Of course, absolutely. And if you want to make it down, don't drive. Don't walk, bike, roll, take transit 2, 3, 5, and 10 will get you closest to the waterfront.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for us today. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk tomorrow.